Chapter 5182. The people of the Skyfire tribe were confident that they would be able to defeat the other party. Damn it! The scattered Six Paths was enraged and his face turned cold. Lin Xian walked out and waved his hand, saying, "Let me do it." The scattered Six Paths lowered his head. "Please forgive me. I am useless." Lin Xian shook his head. "Don't worry." He walked forward and said calmly, "Lead the way and I will spare your lives." "Who are you?" The Skyfire Prince frowned and stared at the other party. "Hiding your head and tail? You don't even dare to show your face? Buzz." He sneered. Suddenly, he saw the black-robed man raise his head and a golden light flashed in his eyes. In the next moment he held his head and screamed. A strong soul power surged into his mind. It wanted to tear his soul apart. "Not good. It's a soul attack. Protect the young master." The two elders beside him roared. At the same time, the middle-aged woman waved her hand and a flaming sword flew towards Lin Xian. With a clang, Lin Xian stretched out two fingers and flicked it. The flaming sword shattered and the woman's arm turned into pieces. She screamed as she retreated. So strong. She looked terrified. The other two elders also looked like they were facing a great enemy. "Who are you?" Buzz. As soon as he said that, his pupils dilated and he realized that the black-robed man had disappeared. When he reappeared, he was behind him. A hand grabbed his head. "I don't like nonsense. I have given you a chance. If you don't cherish it, you can go to hell." With a wave of his hand, the other party's soul was destroyed. The elder fell to the ground. "Is he dead?" The remaining people's pupils constricted. The other party had killed one of their elders with a single move. "That's too scary. Retreat." They quickly retreated. Lin Xian sneered. "You want to leave now?" Two more fingers pointed forward. "Demon God Finger." The other elder spat out blood. His forehead was pierced and he died again. Only the Skyfire Prince and the middle-aged woman were left. The middle-aged woman said, "Don't kill us. We admit defeat. We will lead the way. Kneel down and submit." Lin Xian's expression was cold. He didn't kill them. Instead, he used an eye technique on them. Their souls were in intense pain, and they wanted to resist. Lin Xian said that those who resisted would die. The two of them didn't dare to resist, and an imprint was planted in their souls. In the next instant, the golden light disappeared from Lin Xian's eyes. The two of them lowered their heads respectfully and greeted the young master. "Lead the way." Lin Xian waved his hand. The two of them stood up and led the way. "Come here," said Six Paths. The two youths from the Leaf Fire race followed. They were dumbfounded. That black-robed man was too powerful. After all, those were two elders of the Skyfire clan. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't even withstand two moves from his opponent. Could it be that this black-robed man only had a young voice, but was actually an incomparably terrifying old monster? Their scalps went numb. At this time, the two of them felt a wave of sleepiness sweep over them, and they closed their eyes. He fell to the ground. Lin Xian waved his hand and erased a part of their memories. Then he tore open a crack and sent the two of them away. "Leave this place. Solar God Palace isn't a place you can come to." The two of them no longer had any memories of him. Lin Xian didn't kill the two of them and sent them away safely. Then he continued to move forward. The two people from the Skyfire clan led the way. The two of them had completely submitted, so they told him everything they knew. It wasn't the first time they had led the way. They waited near the valley to lead the way for the experts. Of course it wasn't free. They had to pay a great price. However, they met Lin Xian this time and kicked an iron plate, so they were subdued. Previously, many experts had already gone in, and they said that they didn't know the answer. They were definitely not the ones who knew the clues, so there should be more people going to Solar Divine Palace than expected. Lin Xian also knew this. After all, those who could come here were all experts, and no one was weaker than anyone else. So what if there were more people? He had to get what he wanted. Countless people were searching for Solar God Palace, but they were shocked on this day. The reason for that was because they had discovered that some extremely powerful individuals were walking over. One of them was surrounded by demonic chi as if he had walked out from hell. Heavens, it was the 9 underworld demon king from the Z Mansion. He was a figure from 10,000 years ago, and he actually came. There was another person who was surrounded by golden flames and had powerful wings that covered the sky. Once he appeared, the entire sun was boiling, and countless people were terrified. The people from the Golden Crow clan laughed heartily. Great, it's our Golden Crow clan's Golden Fire Saint. He is here. This time we will definitely win. After that, a man with a battle saber on his back descended from the sky and tore everything apart. The surrounding flames of the sun were all extinguished. It was an expert from the Skyrock clan, the Sky Feather Saber Sovereign. There was another person who was surrounded by powerful flames and had the aura of a dragon. It was the Scarlet Flame Dragon Sovereign. Terrifying figures appeared on the sun one after another. Countless people were shocked. The ones who came this time were all extremely powerful saints. Who would be able to contend against them? Apart from them, the elders from the various clans and sects also arrived. They might not have titles, but their strength was not to be underestimated. After all, they had lived for countless years. Once they used their trump cards, it would be shocking. These people came and used their great abilities, which allowed them to find clues. Let's go. All of a sudden, these people set off in the direction of Solar God Palace. Lin Xian didn't know that these people were coming, but he guessed that there were many experts. At this moment, their speed was very fast. With the people from the Sky Fire race leading the way, they were unobstructed. Finally, they sensed a vast and primordial aura. The power was frightening, and Six Paths took a deep breath. He could feel the immense pressure. This wasn't an ordinary flame. It was the Sun God Fire, the palace of a great emperor. The aura on it was enough to make him revere it. Lin Xian squinted his eyes. As expected of something left by a great emperor. The aura was shocking even from so far away. He hoped that the purple Sun God Fire would be able to dissolve his curse. After walking for another 3 days, the two people in front stopped. Young Master Heavenly Fire said, "Young Master, Solar God Palace is in front, but we don't dare to go over. It's too terrifying. We can't withstand it with our strength." Lin Xian squinted his eyes and looked up at the sky. He realized that there was indeed a huge palace in front of them. Although it was still an illusion, it was much more solid. The two people were walking forward, but they couldn't stop him. Moreover, he had already controlled their souls. They wouldn't dare to lie. So he said, "You two should stay here." He walked forward, and the two people stayed there respectfully. Six Paths thought for a long time, then gritted his teeth and followed. Finally, the illusion of a palace appeared in front of them. There was endless Tao of fire on it. Chapter 5183. Standing in front of the Sun God Palace, everyone seemed to be insignificant. Cold sweat dripped down the Six Paths' forehead. It was too terrifying. It was as if he was facing a ferocious beast. Taking a deep breath, the two of them walked in. The Six Paths' body was surrounded by powerful laws to block the attack. Lin Xian was very calm. Even in front of the Sun God Palace, he was still not afraid. The two of them walked in. After entering, they saw a vast hall. Many people were watching inside. When they heard someone coming in, the people in front suddenly turned around. Their gazes were like blades that could pierce through everything. Someone else had come. Who was it? They were facing a great enemy. After all, everyone here was their opponent. They first saw a black-robed man standing there. He had a mysterious aura on him. They frowned. Who was this person? They wanted to investigate, but they found that he seemed to be isolated from everything. They couldn't investigate. This person seemed to have a treasure on him. Soon they looked at the great sage of the Six Paths. They knew this person. He was quite famous. Could it be that this black-robed man was from the Six Paths sect? At this moment someone sneered. "Humph, great sage of the Six Paths, you are quite famous. But this is not a place where you can come." This person had a powerful aura. He was an elder of the Skyfire clan, and was very strong. He was very strong and had reached the level of a saint. After saying that, he frowned. What was wrong with the people outside? Why did they let such a person in? Should they kill him? Some people walked over. They were all powerful people. Some people frowned. Forget it. 2 ants are not worth our time. Let them come in and investigate. What if they really found something? We can just snatch it. They were confident that they could control these two people. So they ignored them and began to search on their own. Lin Xian and the Six Paths also looked around. There seemed to be many passages in this hall that led to different places. At this moment, Lin Xian's eyes flickered with golden light as he carefully investigated these passages. He walked toward one of them. After entering, he found that the passage was connected to a place that looked like a garden. This can't be a medicinal field, right? Six Paths was shocked. He searched carefully. Hearing these cries of surprise, the others also rushed over, each and every one of them overjoyed. Heaven was really a medicinal field. Get out of my way, you two. They roared and rushed over. However, they soon began to roar. Damn it. These spirit herbs had already withered and could not be used at all. From the looks of it, it had existed for too long. These experts shook their heads and sighed. They paid no more attention to him. Lin Xian walked up and grabbed all of the withered spirit herbs. It even took some of the seeds with it. Others felt that it was a pity, but he had the sword world, so he might be able to put these things in. It could even regrow and grow again. After all, the sword world was extremely mysterious. When the other saints saw this scene, they immediately shook their heads. This brat was collecting these withered spiritual herbs. What could it be? He still wanted to let them take root and sprout again? Stop joking, none of us can do it. How could he do that? Who did he think he was? It was the reincarnation of the great emperor. These people sneered. Lin Xian remained unmoved. In the end, Lin Xian even cut off the entire medicinal field and took it away. No one stopped him during the entire process, which made him happy. A group of fools, these people actually did not know about the good stuff in front of them, and even mocked him. Humph, when these spirit herbs grow, their hearts will probably bleed. After keeping the medicinal field, Lin Xian left and returned to the main hall. He was preparing to explore the other passages. The people around him also began to try. These passages might be connected to some mystical place. Heavens, what is this? What a terrifying flame. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from one of the passages. Immediately after, the saint from the heaven fire race retreated. His body was slightly charred. The others all gathered around and cried out in alarm. What had happened? The saint from the heaven fire race frowned. In the passage, there was an extremely powerful flame energy. I was forced out by him. Everyone was shocked. The might of the flames of the saint from the heaven fire race was terrifying. He was actually forced out. It was imaginable how dangerous the flames inside were. They said, "Don't be in a hurry, let's go to the other passages first." Looking at these people, they began to explore the other passages. But they realized that there were indeed good things in these passages. But they were all damaged. For example, he found a passage that led to the weapon pavilion. There were many weapons in there, which made people happy. However, as soon as one of the experts grabbed a sword, the sword was instantly reduced to ashes. Even the other weapons were shattered and scattered on the ground. Even though it was just a fragment, the light on it had disappeared. This made countless people sigh. Damn it. The weapons collected by the great emperor were so precious. If there was one, even if it wasn't an extreme weapon, it would surpass a legendary saint weapon. There was another person who found the book pavilion, which had many ancient books. He was wild with joy and wanted to take them away. But as soon as he moved, those ancient books were scattered with the wind. That expert was so heartbroken that he cried. Damn it, there were so many exceptional techniques and abilities. Could it be that they were all gone? The other passages were the same. For a moment, there was only one passage left in the main hall. That was the passage with the terrifying flames. During this process, Lin Xian and the Vagrant Six Paths also walked through it. During the whole process, the Vagrant Six Paths kept sighing. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and frowned. Hellfire Dragon, how many tens of thousands of years ago was Great Emperor Ziyang? The Hellfire Dragon said, who knows, more than 100,000 years ago. Plus, this is just one of his palaces. It's normal for those things to be destroyed. Don't worry about those weapons. Hurry up and see if there's purple sun godly fire. As for the others, you can at most feel the great Tao aura left behind by Great Emperor Ziyang. More than 100,000 years, maybe even longer. Those weapons and elixirs really don't exist anymore. One should know that the legendary saint weapons could be passed down, because the clan of the ancients worshipped them like treasures. Many saints used their lives to protect those elixirs, and they spent a lot of effort to cultivate them. But this palace was different. In this palace, there wasn't even a single person who was more powerful. They would probably disappear with the passage of time. But the passage filled with flames made him happy. Could that flame be the purple sun godly fire? Lin Xian walked forward. The other saints in the main hall also frowned. They were discussing whether they should work together to enter the passage of flames. At this moment, they were stunned. They discovered that a figure was walking forward. Who was it that didn't know the meaning of death? Soon, they saw that it was the black-robed man. Was it that guy from the Six Paths School? Did he think that he could enter alone? What a joke! These people snorted. The vagrant Six Paths followed beside him, and felt the piercing gazes on his back. But Lin Xian was very calm. Chapter 5184. After Lin Xian entered, he felt a shocking flame energy sweeping towards him. It was as if it wanted to burn him to ashes. He snorted coldly and unleashed the power of his divine body as he strode forward. At the same time, he slashed open the void with his palm. This guy can actually withstand it. How did he do it? The saint experts at the back were all shocked when they saw this scene. Damn it, follow him. If there are treasures inside, we won't let him take them all. These people quickly followed behind. Ahead, Lin Xian continued forward. Beside him, the Six Paths sensed the scene behind him and frowned. Young master, he's using us to pave the way. Lin Xian said that it was fine. He knew very well what the people behind him were up to. He wouldn't let them succeed. Let's go in first. After entering, there was a large hall inside. The temperature of the flames was terrifying. There were flame runes on the surrounding walls. In front of the hall, there was a pill cauldron. There was a pill fragrance coming from the pill cauldron. Lin Xian's eyes lit up when he entered. There are pills? The Six Paths was also shocked. This faint fragrance. He took a deep breath and felt the power in his body boil. This can't be an immortal pill, right? He was shocked. The sages behind him were also shocked. Great, a person rushed over in an instant. Scram. Lin Xian punched out and shattered the void. The bright light of his fist was like the sun. Immediately, the figure was sent flying. His body was penetrated and torn into pieces. He screamed and quickly retreated. Despicable guy, you dare to hurt me? The surrounding people were also stupefied. That was a saint. He was injured by a single punch. That was too unbelievable. Who exactly was the other party? Lin Xian waved his sleeve and tore open a crack in the void to stop those people. He said loudly, "You used my power to pave the way so you could reap the benefits. What a good plan. But don't you think you're too naive? Now just stay there and watch. Whoever dares to come over, I will send them to hell." Lin Xian said coldly. The faces of the experts behind him were cold and gloomy. You alone dare to threaten all of us? Are you out of your mind? Let's kill him together. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian coldly harumphed. He pointed out a finger, which transformed into a peerless divine sword, and attacked forward. The person who spoke had his glabella shattered, and his soul was injured. He screamed and retreated. How dare you team up with others to attack me? Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Kill. The power of his soul rushed out. That saint roared. You dare? He raised his head and roared. His hands opened and closed, turning into countless saber lights. Every single one of them carried an extremely powerful law as they slashed down from the sky. A great battle instantly broke out. Lin Xian was not afraid. Previously, when Lin Xian's strength increased, he was already able to contend against a saint. But later on, Lin Xian obtained the Dragon Prince's flesh, which contained supreme power. During this period of time, Lin Xian had absorbed it, and his strength had undergone a tremendous change. Regular saints were not a match for him. This person might be terrifying, but his strength was only average among the saints. At this moment, how could he be a match for Lin Xian? The battle ended quickly. and that person was smashed into pieces. His soul was pierced by the flames, and he screamed miserably in the air. He quickly fell. Everyone in the surroundings felt their blood run cold. A saint had died just like that? They didn't dare to believe it. Who exactly are you? The Six Dao sect already sent such an expert? Then why don't you dare to show your true face? Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and spoke coldly. Who am I? You don't have the qualifications to know. Get lost, or I will kill without mercy. Damn it. These people gritted their teeth. Someone transmitted a message, telling them to attack together. However, the person who transmitted the message was killed by Lin Xian. Another saint had fallen. The surrounding people were going crazy. Everyone, be careful not to transmit messages. That person's soul spirit was extremely powerful, and he was able to capture our soul spirit transmissions. Everyone's scalp went numb. Everyone had the intention to join forces, but there was no one who initiated it. They didn't dare to. No matter who initiated it, the other party would immediately kill them. This was intentionally destroying their alliance. For a moment, their faces turned ugly, and they didn't rashly make a move. But they didn't leave. At the same time, a few more figures walked out from the sun god shrine. One of them had overflowing demonic chi, and another had terrifying flames. They were all great sage monarchs. They were extremely powerful and weren't comparable to regular saints. When they arrived at the sun god shrine, they saw many tunnels and quickly searched. They quickly came back. There was nothing in those tunnels. Even if there were some things, they would be shattered due to the power of time. They couldn't be used. These experts looked forward. There were flames in that tunnel, and there was even an aura swaying. There was obviously someone. Let's go. The few of them tore the void and rushed over. Inside the alchemy cauldron, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Lin Xian alone had frightened a group of experts. Those experts gritted their teeth. Damn it, don't be too arrogant. Do you want to monopolize all the immortal pills here? The Six Paths Gate is too much. That's right, do you really think we can't deal with you? These people gritted their teeth and prepared to send a signal to gather their companions and attack together. However, at this moment, the void behind them shattered, and a few figures rushed over. At the same time, there was a shocking force. Haha, there is indeed something here. It's not a wasted trip. What a fragrant aura. Could it be an immortal pill? It seems to be an immortal pill refined by a great sage. Cold light burst out from their eyes. More people had come. The expressions of the previous saints changed. They were overjoyed. This time, they could join forces with more people to fight against the black-robed man in front of them. Fellow Taoist, let's join forces. That's right, that guy in front is too hateful. Let's suppress him together. These people quickly shouted. However, the person who came in snorted coldly. Join forces? Who do you think you are? Are you worthy of joining forces with me? Scram. Or you will die without a burial ground. When this was said, the entire hall fell silent. The saints were stunned. Who was so arrogant? Why was he more hateful than the black-robed man? The Sky Fire Sage's face turned gloomy. Aren't you going overboard? He struck out with his palm, and the person behind him walked out from the passageway. Are you courting death by attacking me? Similarly, he struck out with his palm. Both of their palms were burning with flames. Under countless gazes, they collided. A deafening sound rang out as the laws of fire danced in the air. Kacha. The Sky Fire Sage was sent flying. One of his arms was shattered. He fell to the ground and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. An ant that couldn't withstand a single blow. The figure behind him sneered. The surrounding people were stunned. Who was it? So powerful. Chapter 5185. In the next moment, they exclaimed. That was because they saw a man surrounded by flames walking out. He had a pair of golden wings on his back and a powerful and scorching aura. It was a powerhouse from the Golden Crow race. Many people were shocked. Not only that, their scalps went numb because they realized that this was not an ordinary powerhouse from the Golden Crow race. It was a famous powerhouse from the Golden Crow race, the Golden Fire Sage. No wonder the elders of the Skyfire race were defeated. The Skyfire race was much weaker than the other party. The elder of the Skyfire race stood up and healed his broken arm. His expression was ugly. So it's fellow Taoist Goldenfire. I didn't know it was you. I've offended you. He quickly apologized and retreated to the side. I'll spare your life. If you dare to fight me again, I'll destroy your soul. The Goldenfire sage snorted coldly. He stood there with his hands behind his back and looked around. Soon he stared at the cauldron in front of him, and an extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. He had to get the pills inside. When he saw Lin Xian and the Six Paths' itinerant cultivator, he frowned. Get out of here, or I'll destroy your soul. The elder of the Skyfire race quickly said, Fellow Taoist Goldenfire, these two people are very arrogant and want to take the treasure for themselves. They're from the Six Paths sect, and are very strong. Fellow Taoist, be careful. The Goldenfire sage frowned. How dare they take the treasure for themselves? So what if they're from the Six Paths sect? They'll definitely die if they dare to fight us. Who dares to take the treasure for themselves? At this moment, another cold voice sounded. A second figure walked out of the passage. Following that was a terrifying aura. The entire hall darkened, and everyone's bodies swayed as they quickly retreated. Lin Xian also frowned. What a familiar aura. The Six Paths' itinerant cultivator's face turned pale. What a terrifying demonic aura. Is it someone from the demon race? The figure who walked in was wearing black armor, and had a monstrous demonic aura. He was tall like a demon god. As soon as he entered, he suppressed everyone. The powerhouses beside him exclaimed, The Nine Nether Demon King. He's here. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. The Nine Nether Demon King, someone from the Purple Mansion. He was a powerhouse from 10,000 years ago. Back then, he had been sealed in ice, and now that he had awakened, he did not expect to be here too. The Goldenfire Saint snorted coldly. 9 Underworld's Demon King. You don't cultivate the sun flames of the purest yang, right? What are you doing here? The 9 Netherworld Demon Emperor said coldly. He was here to search for treasures and opportunities. He wanted to see if martial monarch Ziyang had left any successions behind. He didn't see the cultivation technique, but he did see the immortal pill. Another voice rang out. Everyone in the main hall was stunned. This time, they saw 2 figures arrive one after the other. Their auras weren't any weaker than the 9 Nether Demon Monarchs. This caused them to panic. It seemed like they had no chance. Elder Tianhua and the rest looked at Lin Xian and sneered. They had no hope, and neither did the black-robed man in front of them. Just watch, the other party will definitely die. Of the 2 people who came in later, one of them was surrounded by a powerful light and had a saber on his back. It was the Heavenly Feather Saber Monarch, an expert of the Heavenly Rock race. The people behind him strode forward like dragons and tigers. The flames on their bodies transformed into the shadow of a dragon as they roared towards the sky. An expert of the 10,000 Dragons Court, the Red Flame Dragon Monarch. The arrival of the 4 experts made the surrounding people feel despair. With the 4 of them here, no one else had any hope. After the Sky Feather Saber Monarch arrived, he looked ahead and exclaimed, Martial Monarch Ziyang was a figure from tens of thousands of years ago. The other things he left behind were all broken. Who would have thought that there would be an alchemy furnace here? If the alchemy furnace was complete, it would definitely be an immortal pill. After I eat it, I might be able to break through and become a peak stage great sage. This thing is mine. The Red Flame Dragon Monarch said firmly. The Goldenfire Saint frowned. You guys seem to have forgotten that the sun is the territory of the Golden Crow race. The things here naturally belong to the Golden Crow race. As the few of them discussed, a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. The other saints retreated to the side. They didn't have the right to speak. The Six Paths Wanderer's face was extremely ugly. He said softly, Young master, why don't we retreat? These people weren't ordinary saints. They were extremely terrifying. Especially the 9 Nether Demon Monarch. He was a figure from tens of thousands of years ago. His methods were extremely powerful. No worries. Lin Xian shook his head. He wouldn't leave. He was here to find the Purple Sun Divine Flame. There might be a strand of the Purple Sun Divine Flame in this alchemy furnace. He had to get it. As for the alchemy furnace, he would take it if there was one. He urgently needed power. Therefore, he turned around and looked at the alchemy furnace. The four great sage monarchs were still discussing and even arguing. Suddenly, the golden crow sage shouted angrily, "Damn it! How dare you touch the alchemy furnace? I'll make you wish you were dead." The sky feather saber monarch also said, "I think we should split the things inside equally." All right, the four of them were afraid of each other. If they really fought, it would be hard to determine the winner in a short time. They might even get injured and let the others benefit from it. Therefore, they decided to split the things inside equally. Since they had finished discussing, the Golden Crow Sage looked forward and said coldly, "People of the Six Paths sect, I'll give you one chance. Leave this place and I won't kill you." The Six Paths sect was so scared that he couldn't speak. Lin Xian looked back at them and said indifferently, "The things inside are useful to me. I want them. You can leave." His calm voice was like a clap of thunder. "The other party wants them." The surrounding experts sucked in a breath of cold air. Who would dare to say such words in front of the four great sage monarchs? Did this black-robed man have a death wish? Did he think that he could fight against the four great sage monarchs? What kind of joke was this? Those people shook their heads. The Skyfire race elder had a ferocious look on his face. This kid will definitely die. That's for sure. Not only will he die, but he will also die miserably. The Golden Fire Saint was infuriated as well. "I wanted to spare your life. Since you want to die, don't blame us." The Golden Fire Saint army took a step forward, and the surrounding people also walked up. The Six Paths sect was suppressed by this force. He spat out a mouthful of blood and kept retreating. Cracks appeared on his body. Seeing this, the four great sage monarchs sneered in disdain. The other party couldn't even block their aura. How dare he talk so arrogantly? Aren't we overestimating him by attacking together to kill such an ant? He doesn't have the right to make us attack together. The red flame dragon monarch snorted. The golden crow sage walked out and said in a low voice, "Why don't I kill him?" "Don't worry. One move is enough." The others nodded. They weren't surprised. In their opinion, the people in front of them couldn't fight against them. The Golden Fire Great Sage walked out and looked at Lin Xian. He said coldly, "Die. I'll kill you with one move." He stretched out his palm. Lin Xian turned around, a cold glint in his eyes. Chapter 5186. The Golden Fire Saint's face completely darkened. What did the other party mean by his tone? He couldn't tolerate that condescending tone. "Who do you think you are? Die for me." He struck out with his palm, and the vast flames turned into a golden crow that flew forward. The power of this move was terrifying, and the other saints couldn't resist it at all. They would be instantly torn into pieces. Indeed, when the surrounding experts sensed this aura, they quickly retreated. Too strong, they couldn't resist the other party's palm. At the same time, they looked at Lin Xian, shook their heads and sighed. He definitely couldn't block it. Golden Crow Race? Courting death. "I'll fulfill your wish." Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a cold light. Naturally, he could feel the powerful auras of these people. It was far beyond the saints from before. But so what? The current him wasn't the same strength as before. After absorbing the power of the Dragon Prince, his strength was much stronger than before. Moreover, the things in the pill furnace were indeed very important to him. So no matter how dangerous it was, he wouldn't back down. Boom! Lin Xian punched out. The Six Paths fist was incomparably vast, turning into 6 world phantoms. It flew and charged towards the flaming palm. With a clang, an earth-shaking sound rang out. Endless flames danced, piercing through the void, and the Six Paths fist was burned. That kid was definitely going to die. The surrounding people sneered, but soon their smiles froze. Although the Six Paths fist was burning, its power didn't weaken. Instead, the surrounding 6 world phantoms erupted with power, tearing the golden crow image into pieces and directly suppressing it. Heavens, what did I just see? He had actually managed to block this attack. This guy's strength was so strong. Could it be that he was also a great sage lord? They exclaimed. Lin Xian sneered. The Golden Crow race was only SOSO. How could they have the qualifications to say such words? If you only have this much strength, I advise you to scram. You're courting death. The Golden Fire Saint's face was cold. The other party could block his palm? It was truly out of his expectations. However, the other party didn't have the qualifications to challenge him. Wings of the Sun. A pair of wings on his back flew up and swept down with the power of the sun. This was also a powerful and peerless divine ability. The power of this palm strike was much more terrifying than the previous one. It was clear that he had only attacked casually before. Now he was angry and was going to be serious. Not good. The Sixth Dao cultivator exclaimed, "Young master, dodge." However, it was already too late. Two wings of the sun soared and arrived in front of Lin Xian, slashing down mercilessly. Lin Xian didn't dodge at all. The surrounding people laughed again. This time, it was time for him to die. That's for sure. Can't you see that he's already scared out of his wits and can't dodge at all? Unable to dodge? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't need to hide. He stretched out his hands and grabbed at the wings of the sun in front of him. Is this guy crazy? Is he trying to grab this weapon with his bare hands? He would be burned to ashes. What a fool. The surrounding experts sneered. The Golden Fire Saint was even more disdainful. The other party was too stupid. An earth-shattering sound rang out from the front as endless flames engulfed everything. That pair of hands, however, were like boulders grabbing the wings of the sun. How is this possible? How did he do it? What kind of physique is this? Is he still human? The surrounding people were stunned. The Golden Fire Saint's pupils constricted. The other three great sage lords also frowned. This person's physique wasn't ordinary. Could it be that he cultivated the Six Paths body? It seemed like this was a difficult opponent. Lin Xian grabbed the wings of the sun with his bare hands and said coldly, "The Golden Crow race was only SOSO." This was the same as before, and it was the second time he said it. The Golden Fire Saint's face was burning. He couldn't stand being slapped in the face twice. "Kid, go to hell." He rushed over like a fire god descending. One punch was enough to destroy everything. Scram! Lin Xian shouted angrily. He held the wings of the sun and slashed back. There was a vast power on it as it collided with the opponent's fist. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the Golden Fire Saint was sent flying. His palm split open and white bones could be seen. He was actually at a disadvantage. Damn it, he couldn't imagine. He was a powerful saint, and he was extremely powerful. Even if the other great sages worked together, they wouldn't be able to beat him. But now a black-robed man actually forced him to retreat. Who was the opponent? Was he a nobody? Despicable thing. You have completely infuriated me. No matter who you are, I won't let you off. The Golden Fire Saint kept forming seals as his entire body was burning. A mysterious rune appeared on his physique. In the next moment, an even more terrifying flame power burst out. Everyone retreated in fear. Elder Tianhua even exclaimed, "Golden Fire Body." This was a very terrifying flame physique. The Golden Fire Saint's name came from this. This kind of physique possessed a powerful flame energy, as well as an indestructible strength. It could be said to be abnormally terrifying. At this moment, it was fully unleashed and engulfed everything. Lin Xian was also surprised. Oh, an extremely powerful physique. It seemed like these people were indeed strong and weren't comparable to ordinary great sages. If he didn't absorb the Dragon Prince's power previously, he wouldn't be able to withstand it with his own strength. But now? It was different. The dragon blood in Lin Xian's body was boiling. He had only absorbed 1/3 of the Dragon Prince's flesh and blood at most. But it was enough to cause an earth-shattering change. His dragon blood was even more terrifying than before. His physique was also valiant. With a raise of his hand he could destroy the world. Now it was time to show his true power. Boom. In the next moment, the opponent's golden fire body rushed over and attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian punched out with the Sixth Dao Fist. The Sixth Dao Fist was extremely profound, and had the power of reincarnation. Lin Xian used all his strength. The Sixth Dao Fist turned into 6 illusory worlds that surrounded them. What is this? Such a terrifying power of reincarnation. Who is this guy? Could it be that the sect master of the Sixth Dao Gate came personally? They were shocked. It was their first time seeing such a terrifying power of reincarnation. The Golden Fire Saint shuttled through the 6 worlds and attacked Lin Xian. Go to hell. He punched at Lin Xian and realized that Lin Xian didn't dodge. He was overjoyed. After activating his bloodline, how could Lin Xian fight against him? But when he exchanged blows with Lin Xian, his arm went numb from the impact. What's up with his physique? He didn't manage to break through it. Could it be that Lin Xian also has a super strong physique? Damn it. 6 Dao body. He roared crazily. Boom. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden radiance. The reincarnation mountain appeared. It emitted a vast power of reincarnation. The illusory worlds of the 6 worlds were even more terrifying. They kept spinning. It seemed like they were really going to suppress Lin Xian. Oh no. The faces of the spectators changed. Is the power of reincarnation really going to send the Green Fire Saint into the 6 Dao reincarnation? The experts from before felt their scalps go numb. Luckily, they didn't attack. Otherwise, they would have ended up in a terrible state. The 3 great sage lords frowned. Lin Xian's strength was beyond their expectations. Chapter 5187. It seemed like the Golden Fire Saint couldn't take him down. We don't want to waste time. The blazing flame dragon god walked out. As an expert of the 10,000 Dragon Court, he was in a bad mood. The Dragon Prince had been killed, and they hadn't caught a single enemy. So he just wanted to end this quickly and get the treasure. Then he would go back and continue to kill those enemies. He didn't care about fairness anymore. He stepped forward and walked forward. Was the blazing flame dragon god going to attack? The others also exclaimed in surprise. The 9 Underworld Demon King and the others frowned but didn't say anything. They didn't want to waste time either. But the 6 Paths Cultivator said that they were all powerful saints. Did he want to fight 2 against 1? Wasn't he embarrassed? You don't have the right to teach me a lesson. The blazing flame dragon god scoffed. A sharp light shot out from his eyes and pierced through the 6 Paths Cultivator. The 6 Paths Cultivator spat out blood and flew back. 2 bloody holes appeared on his body. In an instant he was heavily injured. Too strong. He couldn't even block 1 look. Could young master block it? He started to worry for Lin Xian. Lin Xian used his reincarnation power, and the 6 Paths fist to block the blazing flame dragon god's golden fire body. However, this time, he frowned because he discovered that there was another extremely terrifying aura in front of him that was charging toward him. It wasn't any weaker than the Golden Fire Saint. It also had a strong Dragon Dao aura. With a loud explosion, the 6 worlds were torn apart and he was forced back. He took 3 steps back, his face pale. The Golden Fire Saint heaved a sigh of relief. He looked to the side. You're here too. Let's work together to kill him. As an expert, he didn't want to work together, but he was really annoyed. Not being able to take down Lin Xian made him lose face. Another one? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked at the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court. So what? I'll take all of you today. A crackling sound came from his body. The 10,000 Dragon Court still had the mood to come here to hunt for treasures? Your prince is dead. Aren't you going to go back and cry? Damn it, you're asking to die. The blazing flame dragon god roared. This was a pain in their hearts. He roared angrily and charged over. The monstrous flames transformed into a fire dragon, blotting out the sky and covering the earth as it charged forward. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted and executed the 6-path fist. The 6 worlds sealed the fire dragons separately, suppressing them with reincarnation. Me too. The Golden Fire Saint attacked from the side. The 2 experts attacked together, besieging Lin Xian. For a moment, Lin Xian was in an extremely dangerous situation. This time, that brat was really dead. The surrounding people sneered again. Lin Xian indeed felt a great sense of crisis. He was being suppressed for a moment. Brat! What are you going to use to fight us? The red flame dragon monarch laughed viciously and attacked madly. Every punch could destroy the universe and starry sky. Lin Xian was beaten to the point where his qi and blood roiled, and he spat out blood. He was infuriated. He hadn't intended to reveal his identity. After all, his 9-yang divine body, the laws of yin and yang, and the demon emperor's ancient scriptures were too eye-catching. Once he used it, he would be discovered by others and recognized immediately. But now he couldn't care less. He would use his strongest technique to obtain the pill furnace and then leave. Lin Xian roared angrily. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? With a cold shout, the power in his body erupted. Behind him, countless dragon shadows condensed. Terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, terrifying sword dragon, monstrous fire dragon. It was as if 10,000 dragons had awakened and stood above the 9 heavens. This power directly forced the red flame dragon monarch back. His chi and blood roiled. How was this possible? You're from the dragons? Who are you? The surrounding people were also stunned. Wasn't the other party from the Six Path sect? How could he use the dragon shadows? For a moment, they were all stunned. Lin Xian took advantage of this moment to turn around and slap the furnace. How dare you? Countless people shouted angrily. The 4 great saints all made their moves at this moment, causing the furnace to shake and the lid to open. Monstrous flames swept out and a pill hovered in the air. The pill was as big as a walnut. Endless light and the great Tao interweaved on it. It was exceptionally mysterious. After eating the pill refined by the great emperor, they would benefit greatly. Kill. They charged over crazily. However, terrifying flames were sweeping out from the furnace. In an instant, it enveloped the entire pill refinement hall. Lin Xian quickly retreated, grabbed the Six Path sect's loose cultivator, and threw him out. Run. Young master. The Six Path sect's loose cultivator exclaimed. However, he received an order in his mind and did not dare to resist. He quickly ran away. The others did not run away. Their eyes were burning as they stared at the pill in front of them. Although the 4 great sage monarchs were here, they might still have a chance, because they could see that the 4 great sage monarchs were not united. As expected, the red flame dragon monarch grabbed the pill. It's mine. The golden fire great sage snorted. How dare you? Behind him, the sky feather saber lord also said. Didn't we agree to split it evenly? Behind him, he unsheathed his saber and slashed forward. Split it evenly? Don't you think it's ridiculous? The golden crow great sage snorted. Scram, or don't blame me for being impolite. The 9 underworld's demon monarchs' killing intent swept over. How are you going to be impolite? The 4 of them fought and attacked each other. For a moment, they forgot about Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood outside the battlefield. Golden light flickered in his eyes. He was also extremely jealous of the pill. However, he knew that if he wanted to take the pill, he would be hunted down by the 4 great sage monarchs. It was not wise for him to do so. Moreover, he had a feeling that the pill was very dangerous, but he could not explain it clearly. It was better to take a look at the other flames first. He activated his eye technique, and discovered that there was indeed a wisp of flame in the cauldron that kept jumping. The flames in the sky were all condensed from that wisp of flame. What a terrifying aura! Although it was only a wisp, it contained shocking power. That should be the purple sun divine fire, right? Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He had to get that. In the next moment he rushed over. Damn it, how dare you! The golden fire great sage roared. Scram. Lin Xian swung the Six Path fist and forced the other party to retreat. Stay. The sky feather saber lord also roared. Wherever the saber went, everything would be destroyed. Lin Xian slashed back, and the saber and sword collided. The sky feather saber lord's arm went numb from the impact, and his pupils constricted. Who are you? Was his opponent's sword chi also so sharp? Then the 9 underworld's demon monarch also charged over. Demonic chi filled the sky. 9 underworld's palm. He struck out with his palm, covering heaven and earth. The surrounding people almost fainted. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Demon God Seal. The demonic chi seemed to be even more terrifying than the 9 underworld's demon monarchs. At this moment, the other party had transformed into a demon god. With a clang, the 9 underworld's demonic palm was blocked. The 9 underworld's demon monarch's blood boiled, and his eyes shone with a sharp light. You're from the demon race. The surrounding people went crazy. Who is this person? Powerful reincarnation power, terrifying sword chi, terrifying demonic chi, and the aura of dragons. Could it be? Chapter 5188. They had a guess about the black-robed man's identity, but they were not sure. It couldn't be him. It was impossible. He was being chased by the Thousand Dragon Court. How could he dare to appear here? They shook their heads. Lin Xian didn't care. After exchanging blows with the three saints, he turned his hand and slashed out with his sword. The flames that filled the sky swayed, and the elixir exploded with resplendent light. It was as if it had turned into a sun, shining in all directions. Everyone closed their eyes. It was too terrifying. What kind of pill was that? The pill shot up into the sky and danced in the air. The surrounding people attacked crazily. Lin Xian grabbed the cauldron and put it away. How dare you? The red flame dragon deity roared. He could feel the powerful flame energy in the cauldron. If they could absorb it, it would definitely allow their fire laws to rise to the next level. The golden fire great sage roared. Stay. The two of them charged forward again. Lin Xian snorted. This time he did not hold back. He had gotten what he wanted. There was no need to hold back. He took out the Hellfire Dragon Sword and the Great Destruction Spear and sent the two flying. This time, their bodies were shattered and they spat out blood. Legendary sacred weapons. Damn it. You have two of them. The Red Flame Dragon deity roared. Lin Wudi. You are Lin Wudi. Now he could finally confirm that it was him. The surrounding people were shocked. The 9 Underworld's Demon King frowned. You dare to appear here? The Red Flame Dragon deity roared. Kill. Kill him. Let's kill him together. That's right. Let's do it. The Golden Fire Great Sage's eyes lit up. The pill was good, but Lin Xian's treasures were better. He had the Emperor's ancient scripture. Even the Golden Fire Great Sage wanted the 9 Yang divine body. The 9 Underworld's Demon King's eyes lit up. Hand over the Emperor's ancient scripture, and I will spare your life. The Emperor's ancient scripture was related to demons. He needed it badly. Lin Xian sneered. Do you have the right? If you don't want to die, then leave this place. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Lin Xian took a step forward, scaring the surrounding people into retreating. Even the third great sage was shocked. There was no other way. Although the person in front of him was young, the things he had done were extremely terrifying. Even an imperial prince had died at the hands of the other party. Who would dare be careless? This guy wouldn't have brought an extreme weapon with him, right? Could he be plotting something? Are there 3 other extreme grade weapons next to it? The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. The Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch was also frightened. However, his eyes soon shone with a cold light. Impossible. We kept an eye on those people, and none of them left. This kid's extreme Dao weapon was in the Dragon Sea. He doesn't have the heaven-devouring jar on him. Let's see how he dies this time. Wang. As soon as he finished speaking, he screamed and retreated. Lin Xian used the demon shadow to attack his opponent. The other party's soul was severely injured. He spat out blood and was sent flying. Lin Xian attacked crazily. The demon god seal, the demon god finger, and the 6 paths fist attacked crazily. A powerful demon shadow appeared. The Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch's body was shattered. He retreated frantically. Kill him together. He roared. The 9 Nether Demon Monarch turned around and grabbed the divine pill. Lin Wudi has a grudge against you, but it has nothing to do with me. I only want the divine pill. The Heavenly Feather Saber, Lord of the Heavenly Rock Race. He ignored him and charged over. The two of them chased. The divine pill broke through the void and flew out of the pill refinement hall. It even flew out of Sun God Palace. For a moment, endless light erupted. The aura of the pill fragrance swept in all directions. At this moment, the people on the sun were all alarmed. They looked up at the sky. What was the sky? It was a pill that flew out of Sun God Palace. A pill? Could it be refined by the great emperor? Look, there are 2 great sage monarchs following. Let's hurry up and snatch the immortal pill. These people had all gone crazy, covering the sky and covering the earth as they chased after him. A great battle erupted. Dao Lord Heavenly Feather and the 9 Nether Demon Monarch were fighting. After all, the 9 Nether Demon Monarch was a figure from 10,000 years ago. He was very strong. He summoned the 9 Nether Gate and forced the Heavenly Feather Saber Lord to retreat. The Heavenly Feather Saber Lord summoned the experts of the Heavenly Rock race to support him. The people of the Purple Mansion also came. There were more ancient families and peerless sects around them. They had been fighting. However, the sun-like pill was too terrifying. It left the sun and flew into the depths of the universe. These people followed it. A great battle broke out in the universe. At the same time, there were still some people left in the pill refinement hall. The blazing flame dragon monarch didn't leave. He stared at Lin Xian. The golden fire sage didn't leave either. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to kill Lin Xian and obtain the great emperor's ancient scripture. The crimson flame dragon monarch gritted his teeth. Taoist golden crow, help me stop him. I'm going to use a secret technique. This secret technique is very powerful, but it will take some time. Don't worry, after I suppress him, I'll give you a share of the 9 Yang divine body and the great emperor's ancient scripture. Really? That's great. The golden fire sage's eyes shone with a sharp light. The scarlet flame sage looked at the people around him. You guys go too. When the time comes, I'll give each of you a great emperor's mystique. The eyes of the people around him also turned red. Although it wasn't a complete ancient scripture, as long as they could learn a powerful mystique, it would be a shocking fortune for them. These people's eyes also turned red as they surrounded Lin Xian. Among them were the elders of the Sky Fire race and 7 other experts. In an instant, they surrounded Lin Xian from all directions. Lin Xian could be said to be very dangerous. The Scarlet Flame Sage retreated and kept forming seals with his hands. He didn't use any secret technique at all. Instead, he quickly contacted the 10,000 Dragon Court. As an expert of the 10,000 Dragon Court, he knew very well how difficult it was to kill Lin Xian. If he wanted to kill Lin Xian, he had to use an extreme weapon. His previous actions were just to buy him time. At this moment, he was trying his best to communicate with his family. Buried Emperor Star. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court were still searching around. Suddenly they received news. An ancestor's eyes shone with a shocking light. They had found Lin Wudi's whereabouts. As soon as he said this, the other experts also flew over. Where is he? Who found him? The Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord found him in the Sun Palace above the sun. What? That guy is too daring. Is he looking down on us? We're chasing him everywhere, but he still dares to go to the Sun God Palace to search for treasures. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court were so angry that they vomited blood. What should we do? These people discussed. An old ancestor said, Men, what about the other extreme weapons? What do you think? Where is the heaven-devouring jar? The others reported back to the ancestor. There was no movement. The heaven-devouring jar was still in the Black Sea. What? Is that true? Lin Xian didn't call anyone and went alone. He was courting death. The eyes of those ancestors erupted with a cold light. Without the heaven-devouring jar, he only has the great dragon sword soul, but I think he doesn't have enough strength to fully recover. Even if he does, how many times can he recover? Kill him. Use all your strength. Fully recover the 10,000 dragons diagram. Chapter 5189. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty quickly gave the order, and countless resources gathered. They went all out to revive the 10,000 Dragon diagram. 10,000 dragons roared and swept across the 9 heavens. At this moment, they flew high into the sky and the entire buried Emperor Star sensed it. They looked up at the sky and saw countless dragon phantoms galloping in the sky. They were shocked. Heavens, it was the 10,000 Dragon diagram. The apex weapon was fully revived. At this moment, countless living beings prostrated on the ground. They didn't dare to believe it. Had the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty gone crazy? Who were they attacking this time? The people from the Tao sect and Divine Union were terrified. Were they targeting them? These people were facing a great enemy. On the other side, on the Demon Emperor Mountain, Yin Ruyu and Monkey were also shocked. They had also revived their Emperor weapons and activated their apex weapons. The Phoenix Clan. Morong Qingqing's expression changed, and she quickly summoned the Desolate Tower. The other Emperor clans, such as the Yi Clan and the Gu Clan, did the same. They used their apex weapons to defend. Those who didn't had their apex weapons activated their peerless array. This was because no one knew what the other party was trying to do. In their opinion, it should be Lin Xian or someone related to Lin Xian. However, they were soon stunned because they discovered that the 10,000 dragon diagram had fully revived. It was attacking the outer realm. What was going on? Were there experts in the outer realm? Everyone was stunned. They didn't understand. The 10,000 dragon diagram's full power attack flew towards the outer realm and towards the sun. At this moment, flames swept across the sun. Previously, many people had already left. Because of the appearance of an Emperor Immortal pill, countless experts had gone to search for it. They had already left the sun. However, there were still some people who stayed here and had their eyes on Sun God Palace. However, at this moment, they discovered that countless dragon phantoms were rushing over. The aura they carried made them despair. No. These powerful sages couldn't hold on at all. They all prostrated on the ground. Some great sages roared crazily. Apex weapons. Damn it, who brought apex weapons here? Were they crazy? They didn't know that they didn't even have the chance to escape under such power. They could only pray in their hearts. The people in Sun God Palace also felt it. Among them, the Golden Fire Sage's face changed. Damn it, why does he have an extreme Dao aura? The remaining people in the Elixir Hall went crazy. Even Lin Xian's pupils shrank. 10,000 Dragons diagram. Damn it, it's you. The Golden Fire Saint turned around and looked at the Red Flame Dragon army. You lied to us. How dare you use the Myriad Dragons diagram? The Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch's light dimmed. He took out a scroll and crushed it. Endless void power enveloped him. Lin Wudi, go to hell. Boom. In the next instant he disappeared. No. The Golden Fire Saint and the other experts had also gone crazy. Run quickly. The abominable dragon race. They now understood why the Flaming Dragon army had joined hands with them. He didn't want to share the treasures with them, but wanted them to pin down Lin Xian. That way, the other party could report the news to the family. Today's extreme weapons were the best proof. At this moment, they no longer cared about the martial monarch's ancient scriptures. All of them fled in a frenzy. His speed was extremely fast. Damn it. Lin Xian's face was cold. He knew that these people were dead meat. No one could escape. He knew the extreme weapons best, especially those that had fully awakened. To be honest, he didn't expect it either. He originally thought that even if he revealed his identity, it would take a long time for the Thousand Dragon Empire to kill him. But he didn't expect the Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch to have such a treasure. To be able to lock his position in an instant. To be able to escape in an instant. It seemed that in order to kill him, every expert of the Thousand Dragon Empire had many trump cards. Lin Xian's Great Dragon Sword Soul couldn't block the fully awakened power of the Monarch weapon. In the next moment, he took a deep breath and entered the Sword World. The moment the Sword World opened, the Hellfire Dragon also flew over. What a terrifying aura outside. Is it an extreme weapon? Lin Xian nodded. Would this world be able to withstand it? The Hellfire Dragon's expression changed. This world is fine, but you can't. The world can be preserved, but your body will be destroyed. Let's see if there are any other treasures in the Sun God Shrine. Lin Xian said that there was only one furnace, and there was a strand of God fire inside. The Hellfire Dragon said after seeing it. Quick, hide in the furnace first. Then enter the Sword World. Will it work? Lin Xian shook his head. Unless it was an extreme weapon, it would be hard to block it. There was no time to explain. Let's try it. I feel that this furnace is very magical. Would a great emperor use an ordinary pill furnace to refine pills? It was very likely that he made it himself. Alright, let's do it. Lin Xian took a deep breath, entered the furnace, and closed it. Then he entered the Sword World. In the next moment, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Endless cracks appeared on the sun. Those who were still in the sun instantly turned into a bloody mist. No matter if you were in the Great Sage middle stage or the Great Sage late stage, you wouldn't be able to block it. The people inside the Solar Divine Palace had originally wanted to escape from this attack. But when they saw this scene, they ran back frantically. Quickly entered the Divine Palace. This was the Great Emperor's palace. Perhaps it could block it. The Golden Fire Saint and the elders of the Sky Fire clan all ran back. They found a corner to hide in. The Sun Palace was naturally attacked by the extreme weapon. Endless flames appeared on it, sweeping through the 9 heavens. This was the palace built by the great emperor, and it had mysterious power. At this moment, the sun was already broken into pieces. But the palace still existed. After all, it was the full recovery of the extreme weapon. This divine palace was only one of the great emperor's palaces, so cracks appeared on it. Some places collapsed. The extreme weapon's power came in. The Sky Fire Elder and the others screamed and turned into a bloody mist. They no longer existed. No. The Golden Crow Saint roared crazily. His eyes were filled with despair. He wanted to escape, but in the next moment, he was also swallowed by the extreme weapon's aura. His body was broken into pieces. He died unwillingly. The remaining people all died. Even the Sun Palace couldn't protect them. The Sun Palace kept shattering. Many places were already broken into pieces. The extreme weapon's power swept in all directions. Soon it rushed into the pill refining hall. With a clang, the dragon's phantom hit the cauldron. The cauldron was sent flying. The flames on it dimmed, but it didn't break. Just as the Hellfire Dragon said. This cauldron was called the Purple Sun Divine Cauldron. It was a cauldron personally made by the great Emperor Ziyang for pill refining. Although it wasn't an extreme weapon, it was far superior to a sacred weapon. At this moment, under the extreme weapon's power, it actually blocked it. But this time, it wasn't an extreme weapon's power. More extreme weapons' power rushed in. The array and divine fire in the Sun God Shrine resisted with all their might. It consumed some extreme weapons' power. Chapter 5190. Boom. Boom. The sun kept shattering, and the Sun God Palace kept rumbling. It was torn apart. The Purple Sun Divine Furnace inside was violently impacted. Under the endless extreme power, the Divine Furnace also started to cave in, and many parts of it became unrecognizable. However, no one knew what material this divine furnace was made of. Even though many parts of it were caved in, there were no cracks. Lin Xian's blood was also boiling. Although he entered the sword world and could avoid most of the power, this sword world was very powerful. But this sword world was very mysterious. The sword world existed in his body. Therefore, he was different from the Hellfire Dragon and the others. He couldn't completely avoid it. This was also why the Hellfire Dragon let him enter the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. At this moment, Lin Xian was vomiting blood, and many cracks appeared on the 9 Yang divine body. The Hellfire Dragon and the 4 spirit beasts were all nervous. "Kid, are you okay?" The Hellfire Dragon said, "Sit on the spring of life." Lin Xian quickly sat on the spring of life, and a powerful life force enveloped him. Those cracks were quickly repaired. Lin Xian roared crazily. This pain was even more terrifying than his heavenly tribulation. However, the Hellfire Dragon laughed. "Kid, you're really lucky." The 4 spirit beasts said, "Is he okay?" The Hellfire Dragon said, "Should be fine." Think about it. No matter how strong a person is, when faced with an extreme weapon, his soul would be instantly destroyed. Have you ever seen a body like this that kept breaking and recovering? This meant that the furnace outside blocked most of the extreme aura. Hearing this, the 4 spirit beasts laughed. They could finally be at ease. Although Lin Xian's miserable cry came from the sword world, his life wasn't in danger. The extreme aura between heaven and earth slowly disappeared, and many dents appeared on the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. However, it didn't break in the ruins. In the universe, countless people were shocked. They looked into the distance. There, flames soared into the sky, and the entire universe was illuminated. Heavens! What happened? Look, millions of dragon shadows, each of them hundreds of thousands of meters long, swept across heaven and earth. It covered the sky and the earth, enveloping the entire sun. The heavenly Featherblade Monarch's pupils shrank, and he exclaimed, "Damn it, this is an extreme weapon, the 10,000 dragons diagram." "What?" The others also exclaimed. 10,000 dragons court, did they attack with an extreme weapon? Could the solar energy be blocked? The 9 Netherworld Demon Monarch and the others said. It was all thanks to that immortal pill that they managed to escape. At that moment, All of them were rapidly chasing after him. No one had been able to get their hands on the great emperor immortal pill. But now they were rejoicing. If they had not chased after him and stayed on the sun, he would have died long ago. Damn it! Some of the clans and sects roared madly. Back then, they had sent a portion of their people to chase after him, while the rest remained on the sun. Didn't that mean they were all dead? However, no one dared to return. While these people were sighing, the people of the buried Emperor's star were stunned. What exactly was the 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court attacking? They still don't know. The ancestors of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty looked into the sky. Was this enough? At this moment, a figure appeared before them. It was the Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch. What do you think? The Red Flame Dragon Monarch asked. He had fully recovered, but the specific situation was unknown. Where was that Lin Wudi? The Red Flame Dragon Monarch said that it was in the Sun Palace, which was the Emperor's palace. When the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's old ancestor heard this, his face turned cold. Launch a second attack. Old ancestor, once should be enough, right? The surrounding elders said. That's right, to fully recover once, even for our emperor race, the consumption is too great. We can't afford it. The elders gritted their teeth. However, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's old ancestor said that the emperor's palace could block a portion of it. Moreover, that kid had the great dragon sword soul, so who knew if he could survive? If he fully recovered once more, no matter how many trump cards he had, he would definitely die. Don't worry, after this recovery, we won't use the 10,000 dragon diagram for a long time. The old ancestors also knew that they had used up a lot of their clan's resources over the years. They had to rest to replenish their resources. This was the last time they would go all out. Alright, we got it, those elders. They took out endless resources to activate the second full recovery of the 10,000 dragons. The light of the 10,000 dragons in the sky slowly disappeared. But at this moment, it suddenly exploded and swept through the 9 heavens. The clans and sects on the buried Emperor's star went crazy. Heavens, the 10,000 dragon diagram fully recovered for the second time, and this attack was aimed at the outer region. Could it be that the other party was attacking the Sun God Palace? One had to know that something big had happened in the outer region. Only the Purple Sunland's Sun God Palace could do it. Perhaps the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty wanted to obtain the things inside the Sun God Palace. However, there were also people who thought that it was a joke. Even if they wanted to obtain it, they shouldn't have fully recovered. Under this attack, all treasures would vanish. They couldn't understand. In the outer region, the 9 Nether Demon Monarch, Heavenly Feather Saber Monarch, and other experts were still fighting for the Emperor's immortal pill. Suddenly, endless dragon roars sounded. 10,000 dragon shadows swept through the world once more. Everyone's blood boiled. And some people directly knelt on the ground in fear. Heavens, the extreme Dao weapon has recovered again. Is it attacking us? No, it's attacking the sun. What was on the sun that made the nest of 10,000 dragons so crazy? Even if you want the Sun God Palace, you don't have to do this, right? The shattered sun was attacked a second time, and shattered into countless dust particles. The Sun God Palace was also completely shattered, and could no longer hold on. In the ruins of the Sun God Palace, there were even more dents on the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. This time, it completely changed shape, as if it had turned into a pile of scrap metal. In the sword world, Lin Xian was no longer roaring crazily. The cracks on his body were also slowly disappearing. The Hellfire Dragon and the others heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that the power of the extreme Dao weapon outside had disappeared. But suddenly, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He spat out a mouthful of blood. With a cracking sound, his body was torn into pieces, and an endless amount of golden dragon blood splattered between heaven and earth. What was going on? The Sun Spirit Beast roared crazily. Even the Hellfire Dragon was stunned. This shouldn't be. With the spring of life, how could his body shatter? Could it be? Damn it, this was the second extreme Dao attack. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was really vicious. This time it was going to be difficult. He waved his dragon claw and sealed the sky full of golden saint blood. Then he waved his hand and those life gods all exploded, quickly providing power, protecting Lin Xian's heart. Kid, it's up to you now. Even if that pill furnace could block the attack of the extreme Dao weapon once, it probably wouldn't be able to block the second attack. It was up to the heavens. After doing this, the Hellfire Dragon retreated to the side. The 4 spirit beasts were extremely nervous. Were they going to die? Chapter 5191. In the universe, the sun had already disappeared. The light between heaven and earth dimmed. The phantoms of the 10,000 dragons also slowly weakened, but there was still some power left. That place would probably become a land of death. It would no longer exist. It was over. 9 underworlds demon monarch, Sky Feather Blade Lord, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. The others also stood up. They looked at the Emperor Immortal Pill. They had to act quickly. If they were targeted by the 10,000 dragons court again, they would all die. They prepared to use their ultimate techniques. However, the pill shone brightly and suddenly spun and charged back. Not good, quickly stop it. 9 underworlds demon monarch roared, and unleashed the 9 underworlds gate to seal heaven and earth. Sky Universe Blade Lord also unleashed a galaxy of blade light that shattered heaven and earth. However, it was useless. The pill tore everything apart and flew into the distance. Chase. These people chased crazily and soon stopped. Damn it, they didn't dare to go anymore. That was because the medicinal pill was flying back toward the sun. The sun was filled with extreme Dao energy. No matter how strong they were, they didn't dare to go there. Damn the pill, was it crazy? Why did it have to go back? He came from Sun God Palace. Sun God Palace was destroyed. Was he going to be buried with it? Countless crazy roars sounded. The 2 great sage lords also had ugly expressions. Let's go. 9 underworlds demon monarch was very decisive. The current situation was too strange. He couldn't interfere anymore. Sky Feather Dao Lord struggled and soon turned to leave. The others also fled. It was better to return to their families and figure out what was going on. Buried Emperor Star. At this moment, it became a little dim. The sun had shattered and the surroundings fell into darkness, turning into night. The living beings on the buried Emperor Star were terrified. They felt a monstrous aura in the outer space that seemed to want to destroy the world. However, the remote antiquity families and great sects were frowning. What was the 10,000 dragons court doing? At this moment, a group of people who were alive in the outer space returned to their families. Patriarch, what happened? Why did the 10,000 dragons court attack the sun? That's right, are they crazy? When the 2 sides met and told each other what they knew, they were stunned. From the looks of it, the 10,000 dragon court had indeed attacked the Sun God Palace. According to the people who had returned, the Sun God Palace inside the Sun God Palace had probably ceased to exist. As for the Tianpeng race, the Violet Palace sex people were also gnashing their teeth. Damn it, did the immortal pill also disappear? You're saying that a pill flew out and then flew back. At this moment, everyone knew why the 9 Nether Demon Monarch and the others were still alive. It wasn't that these people could block the extreme grade weapon, but that they were lucky enough to dodge it. The clan leader of the Tianpeng race sighed. You are really lucky. As for the matter of the great Emperor Pill, don't think about it anymore. By the time he returned, he would have already been reduced to ashes. Besides, even if it was in perfect condition, we wouldn't be able to enter with our strength. Only those monarch clans had such qualifications. If he wanted to go to the sun now, it would be useless unless he had a monarch weapon. Hearing the news from these people, the entire buried Emperor Star was shocked. After the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's people received the news, they laughed loudly. It was to the extent where they personally sent people over to take a look, and they discovered that it really was the case. That place was split into pieces, and everything no longer existed. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty coldly snorted, and announced to the world that Lin Wuti was dead. He told the others to wait. You dare to go against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty and kill our prince? This is your fate. We won't let a single one of you off. When this news spread out, the people of the buried Emperor Star were all stunned. Lin Wuti was dead? When? Wait, could it be that Lin Wuti was at Sun God Palace? They thought of a possibility and quickly confirmed that Lin Wudi had gone to Sun God Palace. Now they finally understood why the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had attacked Sun God Palace without caring about anything else. So it was to kill Lin Wudi. Damn it, the people of our family were actually buried with Lin Wudi. The people of the Golden Crow race gritted their teeth. The other ancient families and peerless sects were also roaring. This was because half of the people they sent didn't return. These were all top experts. How could they not feel heartache when they saw them die just like that? Some people were puzzled. Lin Wudi was so strong. How could he die? He had a lot of trump cards in his hands. What? The Divine Union shook their heads. Impossible. Boss Lin definitely wouldn't die. Yi Wudao and the others also frowned. That kid should be fine, right? Monkey and Yin Ryu also frowned. However, the dragon race of the Black Sea roared. Damn it. The dark red dragon's eyes turned red. He had Lin Xian's Soul Jade token in his hand. However, cracks had already appeared on the Soul Jade tablet. What did this mean? Was Lin Xian dead? Damn it. The leader of the Black Sea Dragons said. That shouldn't be the case. Young Master Lin had the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Could it be that he couldn't block it? The Toad said that what was the use of having the Great Dragon Sword Soul? He didn't have any resources. He couldn't revive. Furthermore, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had actually revived twice. Who could block it? Damn it, I shouldn't have taken the Heaven Swallowing Jar. The dark red dragon roared crazily. If the Heaven Swallowing Jar was in Lin Xian's hands, Lin Xian definitely wouldn't die. The people of the Black Sea Dragons also sighed. They had implicated young Master Lin. The Phoenix race. Morong Qingqing waited anxiously. There were cracks on the Soul Jade token in her hand. She panicked. Was Brother Xian really in danger? She quickly found the dark red dragon, and realized that there were cracks on it as well. This time, Morong Qingqing's eyes turned red. She almost fainted. Allure. Many experts of the Phoenix race hurriedly supported him and fed him pills. Morong Qingqing roared crazily. Let's go to the extraterritorial space together. They want to investigate the Sun Palace. The dark red dragon escorted the dragons to the Demon Emperor Mountain. After all, the Heaven Swallowing Jar couldn't protect them forever. It was better to go to the Demon Emperor Mountain first. The Demon Emperor Mountain had the successor of the Azure Emperor, so it was very safe. Both sides were at peace for a while. After hearing this, Yin Ryu and Monkey's expressions changed. How is this possible? Damn it, I don't believe it. How could Brother Lin die? Yin Ryu said. I want to see it with my own eyes. He left his green lotus in the Demon Emperor Mountain. Then a few people quickly soared into the sky and charged towards the extraterritorial space. These people had several extreme weapons in their hands. They weren't afraid of extreme power at all. However, when they arrived, they were stunned, because they realized that the sun had long disappeared. Instead, it had turned into a black hole. It was bobbing up and down. Damn it, we can't enter at all. Monkey's iron rod swept forward. Morong Qingqing's desolate tower also tore through everything. However, the black hole seemed to be able to devour everything. Yin Ryu frowned. The sun itself was a world. It contained endless power and shone brightly. Chapter 5192. Brother Xian. How did this happen? Morong Qingqing shed tears. She was about to faint. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Damn it, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have taken the Heaven Swallowing Jar. Don't be anxious. Yin Ryu held the two Soul Jade pendants, her eyes shining. Although there were cracks on them, they weren't completely broken. This meant that Lin Xian hadn't completely fallen. He might still have a chance. That's right, Monkey said. Brother Lin had so many trump cards. He might have been heavily injured this time. But as long as he didn't die, there would be a chance. Morong Qingqing wiped her tears. Yes, Brother Xian wasn't dead. There was only a crack on it. We have a chance. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. What should we do? Let's take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Damn it, let them know how powerful we are. After a short discussion, they decided to kill their way back. Anyway, they couldn't go to the sun now. Lin Xian was in danger, but there was still hope. The only thing they could do now was to attack the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The people on the buried Emperor Star were in an uproar. Lin Xian had fallen? They couldn't believe it. However, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's confidence shocked everyone. Could it be that Lin Xian had really fallen? First it was Long Huangzi, then this Lin Wudi. 2 emperors had already fallen. Who was next? The battle between emperors was too cruel. Was he really dead? Yi Wudao couldn't believe it. He tried to contact the Dark Red Dragon, but he couldn't contact Murong Qingqing and the others. The people of the Divine Union were crying. Bai Susu and the others were filled with despair. How could this be? The ancestors of the Tao were going crazy. They couldn't bear such an outcome. Dead. The Kuanpeng race had complicated expressions. The Z Mansion, Gu family, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Now that this peerless enemy was dead, they could finally be at ease. Qielin clapped his hands and laughed when he heard the news. Haha, the heavens are helping me. I don't need to do anything. 2 emperors had fallen. He was too happy. He had fallen. The Nailing clan, the Fire Dragon clan, the Dugu clan and the other clans that supported Lin Xian fell into despair at this moment. When the Dragon Prince died, they were attacked and hunted down by the 10,000 Dragon Court. Although they had suffered losses, they still had hope in their hearts, and that was Lin Xian. Once Lin Xian fully matured, he would be able to turn the situation around. But now even Lin Xian had fallen. Then there was no more hope for them. In the future, they would most likely face the endless pursuit of the 10,000 Dragon Court. The Dragon Sea clan, the Basket clan, and the Golden Crow clan were incomparably happy. They jumped out and said that Lin Wudi deserved to die. That was right. He dared to kill the Dragon Prince. He deserved to die. These families were very happy. However, at this time, a precious pagoda descended from the sky, causing the blue race to sway and many palaces to shatter. Some of the blue race's people had died. Damn it, who was it? The people of the blue race roared madly. On the other side, the Dragon Sea clan was also under attack. An iron rod soared through the sky, erupting with power like a god attacking. Many people of the Dragon Sea clan turned into a bloody mist, while the Golden Crow clan was swallowed by the Black Heaven swallowing jar. A group of powerhouses had also fallen. Everyone's scalps went numb. These people were all laughing at Lin Xian. Could it be that Lin Xian had returned? The people of the 3 great families were also terrified, but they soon realized that it wasn't so. The ones who attacked were Murong Qingqing, the Dark Red Divine Dragon and the others. These people attacked. Were they taking revenge for Lin Xian? Could it be that he had really fallen? They had some doubts before, but now, they were finally sure. Lin Xian had really fallen. Otherwise, why were these friends so crazy? The people of the 3 great families roared madly, but Murong Qingqing and the others ignored them. They directly charged towards the 10,000 Dragon Court. A few extreme weapons shone brightly. Although they hadn't fully recovered, the extreme power they unleashed still shattered the endless sky. At this moment, the people on the buried Emperor Star were terrified once more. This wasn't an extreme weapon. Was a battle about to break out? This battle would probably shatter mountains and rivers and plunge the people into misery and suffering. The expressions of the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court changed drastically. They directly took out the 10,000 Dragon diagram to block. They didn't take the initiative to attack. After all, they didn't have many resources left. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court shouted angrily, "Are you courting death?" Being attacked by a few juniors made them lose face. Murong Qingqing scoffed coldly. "Since you dare to attack Brother Xian, I will kill you all today." The desolate tower released its power. It was as heavy as a mountain and suppressed the 10,000 Dragon Court. The surrounding space kept shattering. The people inside spat out blood crazily. The iron rod swept through the air, sweeping through everything. The heaven swallowing jar swallowed the heavens and the earth. The 3 extreme weapons exploded at the same time. Their power was terrifying. The 10,000 Dragons diagram was completely suppressed. That damned junior. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court were furious. They really couldn't help but want to fully recover. But they still held it in. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court said that it was time to use their allies to invite the Z Mansion, and the Gu family. Those elders sent out a signal. Everyone was watching. How was the 10,000 Dragon Court going to deal with it? If they really fully recovered, no one would be able to withstand it. But from the looks of it, the 10,000 Dragon Court was at a disadvantage. An emperor race was actually suppressed by a few youngsters. How shocking. This was probably a scene that hadn't been seen in tens of thousands of years. However, at this moment, heaven and earth shattered. An ancient mirror swept in all directions, releasing the power of extreme Tao. On the other side, a huge cauldron floated up and down. 2 dragons surrounded it, releasing a terrifying aura. It was incomparably mysterious. Heavens! Another 2 extreme-grade weapons. Everyone went crazy. Could it be that they were also here to attack the 10,000 Dragon Court? If that was the case, the 10,000 Dragon Court would definitely die. However, they realized that it wasn't the case. After these 2 extreme weapons appeared, they blocked the desolate tower and the heaven-swallowing jar. They were actually helping the 10,000 Dragon Court. The 10,000 Dragon Court laughed out loud. They held the 10,000 Dragon diagram in their hands and soared into the air. 6 extreme weapons confronted each other in the air. Everyone felt this aura and prostrated themselves on the ground once again. The people of the 3 great orthodoxies also looked up. This power had already surpassed everything. The expressions of the Yi family members changed. Yi Wudao's pupils constricted. It was the Gu family. He felt the power of the Void Realm. The Gu family had actually joined forces with the 10,000 Dragon Court. On the other side, the Kuanpeng clan, Qilin clan, and Phoenix clan also exclaimed, "Void Mirror! Dragon Pattern Cauldron!" The Gu family and the Purple Mansion had actually joined forces. The Qilin son snorted coldly. The 10,000 Dragon Court was really something. He originally thought that it was about to shatter, but they actually secretly joined forces. Damn it, looks like I have to find a few allies. His eyes flickered. Damn it, Gu family, what are you trying to do? The dark red divine dragon roared. Morong Qingcheng also said, "Are you going to fight us?" The Gu family members sneered. Lin Wudi was already dead. Why make a big fuss over a dead person? The Zifu disciple laughed as well. That's right. Could it be that you want to start a war? Chapter 5193. Between heaven and earth, the 6 extreme weapons faced each other, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. When Morong Qingcheng and the others heard the arrogant words of the Gu family and Z mansion, killing intent appeared in their eyes. Countless people were watching this battle, and they were terrified to the extreme. As for the ancient families and great sects, they were also facing a great enemy. The expressions of the monarch families changed. They would not allow this battle to happen, because once they fought, everything would be destroyed. Even if they could stay out of it, if the buried Emperor Star was destroyed, their families would not be able to survive. Therefore, the experts of the other monarch families came. Everyone stop. The Yi family's ancestor flew out and said, "Everyone stop. Does the Yi family want to interfere?" The monkey roared. The Yi family's ancestor sighed. Yi Wudao also came. He looked at Morong Qingcheng and transmitted his voice. "I know you're angry, but we can't start a war with them now. Their foundations are too strong. Once they fully recover, your lives will be in danger." Qingcheng, stop. The Phoenix family's ancestor also walked over. The Kuanping family's expert had come. Everything could be discussed. The other top ancient families, such as the Tianpeng family, and the 3 great orthodoxies also appeared. For a moment, everyone was trying to dissuade them. Morong Qingcheng and the others had solemn expressions. To be honest, they knew that with their current strength, it would be difficult for them to fully recover their extreme weapons. If they really fought, they would not have a good ending. However, they were incomparably angry. It seemed that this matter had to be discussed at length. Morong Qingcheng said coldly, "The 10,000 Dragon Court, this matter would not end here. One day, you will pay the price." Hearing Morong Qingcheng's words, the others heaved a sigh of relief. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. "Not only the 10,000 Dragon Court, but also your allies. Just you wait, we won't let any of you off." In the end, they did not attack and returned with the 3 emperor weapons. The other families heaved a sigh of relief. The people of the buried emperor star also calmed down. However, they knew that Lin Xian might have really died. Otherwise, why would Morong Qingqing and the others attack the 10,000 dragon court crazily? The fall of a martial monarch's son had left everyone in shock. Many experts shook their heads and sighed. What a pity. This was someone who had the potential to become a great emperor. Morong Qingqing and the others returned. They had not given up on revenge. Instead, they had gathered their strength. They were too weak, so they had to gather enough resources. When the time came, it would be a fully awakened monarch weapon. It was a peerless strike. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was also crazily collecting resources. They would not let Morong Qingqing and the others go. Both sides had calmed down. However, the entire buried Emperor Star was filled with undercurrents. The atmosphere was extremely tense. There were also those who believed that Lin Xian was still alive. After all, he had too many trump cards. However, a year had passed, and the other party had not appeared again. There was no news of him at all. The sun had completely turned into a black hole, and no one had ever walked out of it. This made everyone realize that this genius might really have fallen. The Purple Mansion sect, the Golden Crow clan, the Blue clan, and the Dragon Sea clan. Naturally, he was happy. Now that one of their enemies had fallen, they all started to celebrate. On the other hand, the people from the Divine Union were completely sad. They knew that what awaited them was a shocking storm. In the Sacred Source Tower, Divine General Hai Yuan, Divine General Yun, and the others frowned. Lin Wudi had fallen. How was this possible? They could not believe it. In a mysterious place on the buried Emperor Star, a black-robed man stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the sky. He was Heishan. He muttered to himself, "Brat, have you really fallen?" The sun had already turned into a black hole. Inside, countless broken palaces floated up and down. There was also a pill furnace that had completely changed shape. Inside the pill furnace was a sword world. In the sword world, the Hellfire Dragon and the 4 spiritual beasts were all stunned. They waited patiently. Previously, the 10,000 dragon diagram had fully awakened twice. It had shattered Lin Xian and turned him into a bloody mist. They thought that Lin Xian was dead for sure. However, at this moment, the void broke open and a pill charged in. This shocked them. They thought that the 10,000 dragon dynasty had arrived. However, they realized that was not the case. It was a pill that revolved around the Tao. What a terrifying aura. This should have been refined by an emperor. The Hellfire Dragon was shocked. I know. This should be a pill from the pill furnace. He returned to the pill furnace. He did not expect to enter the sword world by chance. "Ha! Brat, your life is not meant to end." The Hellfire Dragon waved his claw. He sent the pill into Lin Xian's bloody mist. The pill shone brightly. Lin Xian's shattered body slowly healed. He began to fall into a deep sleep. A year passed and he still did not wake up. Another year passed and Lin Xian opened his eyes. "I'm not dead?" He looked around in shock. He remembered that back then, the extreme Tao aura had already torn his body apart. "Brat, you're awake? That's great." The Hellfire Dragon laughed. The 4 spiritual beasts roared. "You're alive. You're really alive." Lin Xian's face was pale. He felt that all the energy in his body was gone. He was very weak. What was going on? Was it the spring of life? He looked down at the mouth of the spring. The Hellfire Dragon, on the other hand, told him everything that happened before. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. He naturally remembered that there was a pill in the pill furnace. Didn't the other party break through the void and leave? He actually came back. Furthermore, he had obtained it. It was a pleasant surprise. After surviving a disaster, there would be good fortune. Lin Xian sat cross-legged and activated the Emperor's ancient scripture. He began to absorb the power of the pill. The pill entered his body. A part of the power had already dissolved. It made it come back to life. But there was still a part of the power left. Lin Xian was slowly absorbing it. At the same time, the powerful aura of the Spring of Life and the spiritual herbs in the 4 Spirit Valley. It allowed Lin Xian's power to quickly return. In a month he reached the peak. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a sharp light. Thousand Dragons Dynasty, I won't let you go. He wanted revenge. But before that, he still had to break the curse on his body. Lin Xian took out the purple flame from the cauldron. A wisp of purple flame was terrifying. It was even more terrifying than all the power of his 9 yang divine body. Lin Xian knew that this should be the purple sun divine fire. This flame could break the dragon prince's curse. In the next moment, he walked into the purple sun divine fire. His body split open again. The pain almost made him faint. But he gritted his teeth and persevered. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed. In this year, Lin Xian had been tempered by the purple sun divine fire. The dragon prince's curse had disappeared without a trace. He could no longer be detected by the Thousand Dragons dynasty. But he didn't come out. Chapter 5194. After a year of tempering, Lin Xian was already able to withstand the power of the purple sun god fire. Next, it was time to fully absorb it. The 9 suns on the 9 yang divine body kept flashing. Lin Xian's current physique. It was equivalent to the late stage of the great sage. However, there was still a gap between him and a peak saint lord like the golden fire saint. But if he absorbed this purple sun god fire, he would have nothing to fear even if he met someone like the 9 nether demon lord. His physique would be much stronger than these people. 2 years later, Lin Xian completely absorbed the flame. The illusions of the 6 suns on his body were incomparably bright, as if they were real suns. The other 3 were phantoms. This meant that Lin Xian was not far from reaching the late stage of the god body. With the strengthening of his physique and the increase in power of the 9 yang divine body, Lin Xian's combat strength was also much stronger than before. He felt that it was time to leave. With a flash, Lin Xian left the sword world. After coming out, he discovered that his surroundings were pitch black. It was a universe black hole. Around him were broken walls, and in front of him was a pill furnace that had been beaten out of shape. Lin Xian was shocked. The materials of this pill furnace were too extraordinary. After being attacked by an extreme Dao weapon, it didn't break into pieces and only changed shape. He waved his hand and kept the pill furnace. He wanted to see if there was a chance to restore it in the future. Then he left. After leaving the sun black hole, Lin Xian came out and discovered that there was no one around in the vast universe. Actually, this was normal. He thought that the 10,000 Dragon Court would be guarding here. But now it seemed that they didn't do so. Actually, the 10,000 Dragon Court had already determined that Lin Xian had died. Not only them, but the entire buried Emperor Star probably thought so too. I wonder how Qingcheng, Ruffian Long, and the others are doing? Lin Xian was worried. After all, if the news of his death spread out, those people would definitely take revenge. Maybe they had already started fighting with the 10,000 Dragon Court. He was extremely worried, so he increased his speed. There was a pair of demonic wings on his back that flapped. He turned into a stream of light and disappeared. In the starry sky of the universe, several figures stopped. One of them looked into the distance in shock. "Grandpa, I think I saw a person fly out from the sun." It was a young man with light flickering on his body. The old man in front looked into the distance, his eyes radiating a terrifying light. He looked carefully for a while and said, "You must have seen wrongly. How could anyone come out alive from the sun? That place had become a forbidden land of death, and no one could walk out of it." A middle-aged woman at the side said, "That's right. Maybe someone was passing by. Besides, you're just a kid. What can you see? Come on, let's go back. This time, this sun has been shattered, so we have to find a new one." Now that he had investigated it thoroughly, the next step was to transport the sun over. However, with just our strength, it is simply impossible to accomplish. It is better to ask those emperor clans to take action. After Lin Xian returned to the buried Emperor Star, he first inquired about the situation. It turned out that back then, Morong Qingcheng had fought against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. However, she hadn't stopped. Presumably, she had been accumulating strength. After the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty attacked back then, they had calmed down. On the buried Emperor Star, everyone thought that Lin Xian had died. After Lin Xian heard that, he snorted coldly. When the time came, he would give these people a surprise. However, he didn't show himself immediately. Instead, he prepared to go to another world. This was because he had heard news about the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. Lin Xian wouldn't forget this person. It was this person who had spread the news about him. That was why they had sent an extreme weapon to kill him. The first person that Lin Xian wanted to deal with was this person. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord wasn't on the buried Emperor Star. Instead, he had gone to another world to conquer. After all, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had used extreme weapons many times. They didn't have many resources left. They had to subdue other worlds to increase the strength of their forces. As a Saint Lord expert, the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord naturally went out to sweep through everything. After receiving the news, Lin Xian moved once again. He turned into a bolt of black lightning and left. In the vast universe, there were countless stars. Among them, there was a world that was filled with flames. It wasn't a sun. Instead, it was another world called the Flame Star. The power of the flames in this world was extremely terrifying. At this moment, many dragons had arrived. They swept through everything. The saints on the Flame Star couldn't resist at all. Soon they submitted. These dragons started to gather spirit veins for the people on the Flame Star to dig out flame god crystals. This was a powerful energy. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord sat in a large hall in the Star World. Looking at the news of a fish in his hand, he nodded in satisfaction. After collecting the energy of this world, he would collect the energy of the other two worlds. Then he would be able to return and report. It could be considered as completing a mission. This time he had to have a good rest. What he didn't know was that outside the Flame Star, a figure had already descended. A figure that looked like a demonic god. Lin Xian looked at the star world below and narrowed his eyes. His eyes shone with a golden light. They were like the eyes of a god. He could sense the aura of the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. The other party was on this star world. At the same time, he also sensed the aura of many dragons. Other than the 10,000 Dragons Court, there were other dragons. It seemed that after this battle, all the dragons except for the dragons of the Black Sea had submitted to the 10,000 Dragons Court. Very good, from here on out, let the 10,000 Dragons Court feel the pain. Lin Xian landed on the ground. The flame aura below was very terrifying, but under Lin Xian's feet, those flame arts rose and fell quickly, as if they were worshipping their king. Lin Xian had the 9 young divine body. In addition, he had absorbed the divine fire, so his flame power was extremely powerful. Therefore, he was walking on flat ground here. In the distance, in the continuous mountain range, endless flaming mountains were erupting. There were many figures moving there. These people were collecting flame god crystals. Among them, there was a woman with a pale face. She was wearing chains and was also collecting flame god crystals. The experts of the dragons beside her were guarding her. Move faster. The guards of the dragons snorted coldly. They waved the weapons in their hands and hit the chained people in front of them. Those people, most of them were warriors on the Flame Star. Now that they had submitted, they naturally became such coolies. You dare to attack me? The pale-faced woman in front of them was hit by a palm. She immediately turned around and shouted coldly. The guards of the dragons were stunned for a moment before they laughed out loud. I'm so scared. Chapter 5195. Do it. Those guards snorted coldly. Another person said, Enough. Do you still think you're high and mighty? You're now a prisoner. As the princess of the fire dragon race, you actually dared to submit to that Lin Wudi. It's already good enough that we didn't kill you. Hurry up and serve the 1,000 Dragons dynasty. As he said that, he slapped Fire Dragon Princess's face again. Fire Dragon Princess was knocked to the ground and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. She was unwilling to accept this and wanted to fight back. However, the sealing chains on her body sealed her power. Damn it, if Lin Xian was still alive, would you dare to be so arrogant? Fire Dragon Princess roared. Those dragons guards snorted coldly. Alive? Stop dreaming, he's already dead. He died a few years ago. No one can save you. You'll be slaves forever in this life. These people laughed out loud. You'd better be obedient, or you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Killing intent appeared in the eyes of the dragon's guards. The surrounding warriors on the flame planet felt their scalps go numb. They didn't dare to resist. Fire Dragon Princess, on the other hand, shed tears of unwillingness. Lin Xian, are you really dead? She couldn't accept it. Hurry up and do your work. The dragon's guard slapped again, and Fire Dragon Princess was sent flying. Try touching her again. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were stunned. The dragon's guards were even more furious. Who dares to challenge me at this time? Do you want to die? They all turned their heads. In the next moment, they saw a man standing behind them. That man had a handsome face, but his expression was incomparably cold. The endless flames in the surroundings submitted to him. Heavens, is this the fire god? The warriors on the flame planet were shocked when they saw this scene. However, Fire Dragon Princess exclaimed, "It's you." At this moment, she felt like she was dreaming. Who are you? One of the dragon's guards roared. Are you here to save Hualing? Go to hell. He struck out with his palm. However, when this palm landed on Lin Xian was completely unharmed. However, the other party was knocked back, and half of his arm was broken. Then his entire body was taken care of. The power of the vibration turned him into a bloody mist. What a powerful physique. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this. The faces of the dragon's people changed, and they attacked together. Following the roar of a guard leader, more than a dozen dragons quickly rushed over. Ants, unable to withstand a single blow. Lin Xian stretched out a finger, and a terrifying flame flickered on it. He gently pointed forward. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The entire void was completely shattered. More than 10 dragons experts were sent flying while vomiting blood. Their bodies were shattered into pieces. It let out a miserable cry. However, they didn't die because Lin Xian didn't want to kill them. A single finger was enough to suppress more than a dozen dragons, causing the surrounding people to go crazy. Was this really a god descending to the mortal world? Lin Xian walked forward and looked at Fire Dragon Lady. He said, "You've suffered." Fire Dragon Lady trembled in excitement. "Is it really you? Lin Xian, you're still alive?" When the people who were suppressed by the dragons heard this, their scalps went numb. What? Lin Xian. He's Lin Wudi. How is this possible? Isn't he already dead? These people have all gone crazy. The cultivators on the blazing star were shocked. They felt that this name was very familiar. However, they weren't people from the buried Emperor Star. They only felt that the man in front of them was like a god. They didn't know anything else. Lin Xian waved his hand and broke the chains on Fire Dragon Lady. Then he took out a pill and gave it to her. "You've suffered." Lin Xian used his life force to quickly heal her injuries. Soon Fire Dragon Lady recovered. She shook her head. "I'm too happy. I'm not dreaming, right? You're really alive?" Lin Xian nodded. "Of course, the 10,000 dragons Imperial Court can't kill me. Moreover, I'm here for revenge this time." After saying this, his eyes exploded with extremely cold killing intent. In the surroundings, the people on the blazing star all knelt down. "God, please save us." Lin Xian waved his hand and endless sword chi broke the chains on these people. He said, "I can let you regain your freedom. However, you can't go out yet. Hide. Soon I'll let your enemies go to hell. At that time you'll be free." "Thank you, benefactor." These people were extremely grateful. They all hid. Fire Dragon Lady looked at the people around her and said, "What do you plan to do?" Lin Xian said, "I'll seal them. You can deal with them as you wish." "Okay." Fire Dragon Lady nodded. "Thank you." She walked over with killing intent in her eyes. During this period of time, the dragons around her would continue to torture her. Today she wanted 100 times more. 1,000 times more. The dragon's guards all cried, "Fire Dragon Lady, please spare us. We didn't do it on purpose. We were just following orders. Please spare our lives. Begging is useless." Soon, they all let out miserable cries. Under Fire Dragon Lady's methods, these people hovered between life and death. In the end, they all died in endless despair. Great. Fire Dragon Lady snorted coldly. I've taken revenge for all these years. She turned around and said, Are you really going to attack all the dragons here? Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Is there anyone from your Fire Dragon race here? I can save them. Fire Dragon Lady shook her head. Our Fire Dragon race has been suppressed and many of our people have died. The other people are suppressed on the buried Emperor Star. As for me, I was captured by them. No? Don't worry. When we return, I'll let your fire dragons regain their glory. Now, follow me to kill the Scarlet Flame Dragon God. Fire Dragon Lady was more familiar with this place. Hence she led the way. At the same time, on the other side, the people from the dragons also received some news. Naturally, they knew that more than 10 dragons' guards had died. The experts of the Dragon Pearl clan furrowed their brows as they watched the dozens of light spots on the formation disappear. They gathered together. What's going on? Who dares to attack our dragons here? Could it be that there are experts hiding on this flame star? That's impossible. The strongest expert of this star world was killed by our Scarlet Flame Dragon God with one slap. Who else would dare to resist? Is it someone from another world? After all, the universe was vast. Even if experts from other worlds came, it might not be certain. However, some people frowned. Who dares to challenge our 10,000 dragon empire? Someone said. Not necessarily. For example, the Divine Union, the Black Sea Dragons, and the others. The moment this was said, some people frowned. They thought of Morong Qingcheng, the Dark Red Dragon God, and the others. If these people attacked, that would be troublesome. Someone snorted coldly. They were afraid that they wouldn't dare to come. If they come, we'll kill them. Should we tell the Scarlet Flame Dragon God about this? Someone asked. An elder shook his head. This is just a small matter. Let's not disturb his cultivation. We can deal with it. Lin Xian wasn't just looking for the Scarlet Flame Dragon God for revenge. He wanted to get the 10,000 Dragon God and its allies. All of them were terrified. Hence, along the way, all the cultivators of the dragons had died. In each spirit vein, there weren't many guards of the dragons. There were only a dozen of them. However, along the way, this was still a shocking number. After the elders of the dragons received the news, their expressions turned ugly. Damn it. Go and search. Chapter 5196. The other party's attack was shocking, killing with one strike. Damn it. Are they challenging us? Extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from the eyes of these Dragon Clan experts. An expert from the dragon race said, Look at the path they are taking. They have gone to every single spirit vein along the way. It seemed that they planned to save the people on the flame planet one by one. This way it would be easy. We could set up a trap at the previous spirit vein in advance. When he comes, we will catch all the enemies in one fell swoop. In the eyes of the dragons, the other party was not one person, but a group of people. That was why they could be so fast. The dragon's elder said. So what if it was a group of people? Gather our elite forces. This time, I will let him know what regret is. The dragons headed to the Spirit Fire Mountain range. This was a very exaggerated spirit vein, a top-grade spirit vein. The dragons had many guards, so the other party would definitely come here. After the dragons came, they set up a formation and hid. They wanted to wait for the rabbit to come. Lin Xian was indeed heading towards the Fire Spirit Mountain range. He was indeed prepared to kill his way here. He would not let anyone from the dragons go. He came to a mountain peak and looked at the mountain range in the distance. He narrowed his eyes. Fire Dragon Girl said, If we do this, the 1,000 Dragons Court will definitely get the news. Maybe they have already set up a trap and are waiting for us. Are we really going to continue like this? Why don't we change places and catch them off guard? A trap? Lin Xian felt that there was indeed a hidden aura in front of him. He smiled. No need. He would go to the mountain range in front of him. Fire Dragon Girl was stunned, but there was danger ahead. Lin Xian smiled. In the face of absolute strength, all schemes were broken. I will let them die in the most despair. Let's go. Lin Xian flew forward. Fire Dragon Girl took a deep breath. Absolute strength. The other party was indeed qualified to say such words. In the Spirit Fire mountain range, the dragon's guards were mining flame god crystals. At this moment, two figures descended from the sky, causing countless people to look up. The warriors on the Crimson Flame planet were shocked. Who was this person? The dragon's guards snorted coldly. Who is it? How dare you come here and behave atrociously? Get down here and speak while kneeling. Just as he finished speaking, a palm slapped down from the sky. The dragon's guard who spoke had his face smashed and was sent flying. He crashed into a distant mountain range, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. How dare you challenge us dragons? The other guards shouted angrily. The warriors on the blazing star were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. Who was this crazy person? 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, none of you will be able to leave alive today. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded out. He landed below. Damn it, the enemy is you? The guards of the dragons in front of them shouted angrily. You dare to come? Humph, you want to kill us? How laughable. As he spoke, he waved his hand and sent out a signal. Countless formations flickered in the surroundings as figures of experts appeared in the void one after another. They blotted out the sky and covered the earth. There were more than 100 of them. They completely enveloped Lin Xian. Are there only the two of you? One of the dragons coldly snorted. They went to check the auras in the surroundings. They felt that there must be more experts hiding. However, after checking around, they didn't find anything. There were only the two people in front of them. Who are you? They roared angrily. In front of them, Lin Xian's body was covered in flames that had long enveloped everything like a volcano. Their souls couldn't see each other's faces clearly. Lin Xian said coldly, What? It's only been a short time and you already don't know who I am? No matter who you are. You want to challenge us with just the two of you? You're courting death. Kill him. With an angry roar, the surrounding formations activated countless sword formations. Thunder and flame formations covered the sky and earth as they charged over. Sword energy swept across heaven and earth as thunder descended from the sky. It carried destructive power. These formations were enough to destroy everything. The entire world was completely pierced through. The people of the blazing star were so scared that they fainted. They couldn't resist this power at all. Boom, boom, boom. Fire Dragon retreated far away and dodged this attack. Lin Xian didn't retreat at all. He allowed the power of these formations to hit his body. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the endless void shattered. When the people of the dragons saw this scene, they laughed out loud. Stupid thing, how dare you challenge us? You can't even withstand a single blow. You can kill him in one move. They laughed proudly. However, when the energy disappeared, the smiles on their faces disappeared. Instead, they were horrified. It was as if they had seen a ghost. How could it be? You didn't die? They discovered that the man in front of them was unharmed. There wasn't a drop of blood. He just stood there. Impossible. These formations were extremely terrifying. People in the middle stage of the Great Sage realm would definitely die if they encountered them. Even if they were a great sage, they would have to resist for a while. However, the other party didn't resist at all. How strong was the other party's defensive power? Was this the trap that you set up? You can't even withstand a single blow. Your strength really disappoints me. Use whatever other means you have. Otherwise, it will be my turn to counterattack. Lin Xian's voice rang out. The powerhouses of the dragons had ugly expressions on their faces. The elders of the dragons roared and attacked with all their might. Hundreds of dragons' powerhouses attacked together. The divine abilities of the dragons blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they attacked below. The entire mountain range shook violently and was torn apart. At this moment, they disregarded everything and wanted to kill the other party. It's over. We're going to die. The martial artists on the fiery star were in despair. Such power was enough to kill them with one strike. At this moment, they discovered a golden palm that enveloped them like a mountain, blocking all the attacks. Lin Xian stretched out his palm. On one hand, he protected the martial artists on the fiery star. On the other hand, facing the attacks that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, he punched out again. One punch shattered heaven and earth. The divine abilities that filled the sky were all shattered. The hundreds of dragons' powerhouses felt their blood boil. How was this possible? Were they crazy? The other party's punch was so powerful. Who exactly were you? They roared. They had guessed that it might be Morong Ching, Monkey, and the others. However, it was completely different from the person in front of them. The flames on Lin Xian's body slowly disappeared, revealing his true face. What? You don't even recognize me? It's you. When the elders of the dragons saw this face, they were completely stunned. How could they not recognize this face? They would never forget it even in their dreams. Lin Wudi. This was impossible. If you're dead, how could you appear here? They roared crazily. Could it be that the other party was not dead? However, this was too unbelievable. An apex weapon and 2 full-strength attacks. If the other party could survive, how terrifying would he be? However, what was going on with this person in front of them? No, they had to report this to the Blazing Dragon Legion. This was big news. They wanted to escape. However, the surrounding flames surged into the sky, forming a world of flames that directly blocked everyone's path. Chapter 5197. Lin Xian's appearance stunned the people from the dragons. For a moment, they were all stunned. However, Lin Xian acted decisively and slammed his palm forward. The person in front of him instantly turned into a bloody mist, his body pierced through. The few people beside him also vomited blood and flew backwards. Miserable cries could be heard. Their screams brought the people from the dragons back to their senses. Damn it! Counterattack! An elder from the dragons shouted angrily, his body surrounded by terrifying thunder. He was from the Thunder Dragon clan. However, just as he finished speaking, his pupils suddenly shrank. He realized that Lin Xian had unknowingly appeared in front of him, less than half a meter away from him. At this distance, sensing the other party's aura, the Thunder Dragon's elder's body trembled. He couldn't control himself and wanted to kneel down. Die, he shouted angrily. He didn't allow himself to be afraid of a young man. He slapped out with his palm. The thunder on this palm turned into a thunder dragon, roaring crazily and shattering the endless void. With a boom, this palm slapped Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's body swayed, and the endless thunder disappeared. How was that possible? The elder was stunned. He was in the middle stage of the Great Sage, and a terrifying expert. Could it be that this palm couldn't break the other party's defense? The other party was only in the early stage of the Great Sage. How could the difference be so great? Lin Xian sneered. Ignorant ant. He slapped towards the other party's shoulder. With a crack, the other party's shoulder instantly shattered. White bones appeared and blood dripped. That pain almost caused the elder of the Thunder Dragon tribe to faint. The difference was too great. He wanted to retreat. However, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a saber light appeared, directly cutting off the other party's legs. A miserable sound was heard. The Thunder Dragon's elder screamed crazily. He quickly retreated. The laws on his body surrounded him, and his broken body healed. Then, in the next moment, a large hand enveloped him. All the bones in his body shattered, and blood dripped from his fingertips. No. The elder of the Thunder Dragon tribe was terrified. However, it was useless. Under this palm, it turned into a bloody mist, no longer existing. Lin Xian loosened his grip and looked at Ba Huang. The surrounding people looked terrified. The other party was too strong. Everyone attacked together. An angry roar. Those people once again attacked from all directions. Lin Xian allowed these people to attack as he struck out with his palms. More than a dozen figures turned into a bloody mist. Then, with another kick, the 7 figures shattered into pieces. It was as if Lin Xian had entered an unstoppable realm, sweeping through all directions. In the blink of an eye, half of the 100 dragons had fallen. As for the remaining ones, they were all injured, and their faces were filled with fear. Damn it, Lin Wudi, don't be so arrogant. Do you want to become enemies with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? Another middle-aged man walked out and roared madly. Think clearly about the consequences of being our enemy. You can live once, but can you live a second time? Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, he flew out as if he had been struck by lightning. Cracks appeared on his entire body. Lin Xian came to the other party's side and grabbed the other party's head. He laughed coldly. You dare to threaten me? You want to kill me a second time? Do you think that's possible? With a wave of his hands, the other party's limbs were broken. A miserable voice rang out. I'm an elder of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. If you kill me, you're dead meat. Is that so? Lin Xian snorted coldly and directly shattered the other party's head. The elder's corpse fell from the sky. The other people felt their scalps go numb as they begged for mercy. Young Master Lin, please spare our lives. We had no choice. Young Master Lin, on account of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, why don't you stop? We'll apologize to you. Apologize? Lin Xian's eyes turned cold as he smiled. Sure, all of you kneel down and cripple your own cultivation. Kneel on the ground and kowtow to me to apologize. I'll give you a quick death. What? Kowtow and apologize? You still have to die. The surrounding dragons were furious. The other party was too despicable. Don't go too far. Another old man roared angrily. However, he was split apart by Lin Xian's palm. Lin Xian grabbed the other party's broken body and laughed coldly. Going too far? Your 10,000 Dragon Dynasty used an extreme weapon against a young junior like me. Don't you think you're going too far? Don't you think you're going too far with more than 100 powerhouses against me? What right do you have to be arrogant in front of me? Lin Xian roared angrily. Just this voice alone was enough to destroy the old man's soul. Break out! Break out! One after another, angry roars sounded out. Lin Xian and the others couldn't win at all. They could only quickly attack the array formation. However, this array formation was set up by Lin Xian, and it contained an extremely powerful 9-yang divine flame. The power of this flame caused countless people to burn when they got close. They retreated in fear. Damn it, let's fight it out. These people shouted angrily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to fight it out with me? He formed a seal with his palms, and 6 suns appeared on his body, sweeping in all directions. It was as if 6 real suns had descended into the world. The entire world was instantly set ablaze. The scorching heat caused the world to burn, and the people inside screamed crazily. No. What is this? Why do I feel so scared? My body can't withstand such terrifying flames. Horrified screams sounded one after another. Under the 6 suns, everyone was set ablaze. They wanted to extinguish the flames, but they couldn't. In the end, everything disappeared into thin air. Everyone was reduced to ashes, and nothing remained. The 6 suns flew into Lin Xian's body and disappeared. The flames between heaven and earth disappeared. The people on the flame planet were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Dead. More than 100 dragons' powerhouses had all fallen. One had to know that these people could sweep through their entire world. But now, they couldn't even withstand a single blow from a single person. What kind of power was this? They looked at Lin Xian with respect as if they were facing a god, and all of them prostrated on the ground. Lin Xian waved his hand and split the chains on these people. Then he said, "You are free." The next moment he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Fire Dragon Girl hurriedly followed. The two of them disappeared, leaving behind the shocked martial artists below. On the Flame Planet, within the majestic Flame Palace, some of the powerful beings of the dragon race were extremely shocked. Something had happened, and more than 100 experts had fallen. This made them unable to believe it. What was going on? A sage-level elder walked over and asked coldly. The people below hurriedly explained the matter. That sage-level elder's face turned gloomy after hearing it. There was an enemy? You even set up a trap. Who was the enemy? How did they fall? Let's go. Quickly follow me to the Fire Spirit Mountain range. These people soared into the sky. They headed to the Fire Spirit Mountain range. When they arrived, they were dumbfounded. The Fire Spirit Mountain range was shattered, and blood swept across heaven and earth, turning into a sea of blood. At this moment, there was no one left. Apart from the corpses of the dragon's powerhouses, there was nothing else. They were all dead. The people who rushed over couldn't believe it. More than 100 experts had all fallen, and not a single one was alive. Who was it that did this? Chapter 5198. Who exactly is it? How dare you attack our dragon clan? You must have eaten the heart of a leopard. The elders of the dragons started to roar frantically. The other youths and guards were terrified as they felt a wave of apprehension. Too powerful. Someone is targeting us dragons. Are we going to be wiped out? At this moment, an elder of the dragons spoke coldly. What kind of joke is this? Our remaining people are even stronger. There are a few saints and even the Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord. Do you think those people can withstand it no matter how strong they are? Yes, that's right. Once these words were spoken, the young martial artists regained their confidence. They still have many experts on their side. They will definitely be able to withstand it. Another elder said and walked back. At the same time he gathered everyone back. We will guard the main hall. If those people want to make a move on us, they will definitely attack our main hall. At that time, we will decide the victor. These people quickly returned to the main hall. At the same time, they sent out a signal for everyone on this planet to quickly return. The martial artists of the dragons frowned. What's going on? Asking them to return at this time? Did something happen? When they returned and heard that many of their elite experts were killed, they were all stunned. This is impossible. This was impossible, right? Who could be so audacious? Find the enemy and tear him into pieces. One must know that hundreds of experts meticulously set up a trap. How terrifying is that force? But now they were all wiped out, and they didn't even know who the enemy was. We will know soon enough. I think that group of people will definitely come. They will guard the main hall. On the other side, Lin Xian left the Spirit Fire mountain range and went to other mountain ranges. He realized that the people there had already left. Lin Xian frowned. It seemed like they had already received the news and should have gathered together. He looked at Fire Dragon Lady and asked, "Do you know where their base is?" Fire Dragon Lady nodded and led the way. 2 days later, Lin Xian stopped and looked at the majestic palace and mansion in front of him. His eyes flickered with astonishment. Is this the place? He looked at Fire Dragon Lady and said, "Wait here. I will go there myself." Fire Dragon Lady took a deep breath. "Young master, be careful. Don't worry, they won't be able to hurt me." Lin Xian transformed into a streak of light and flew into the distance. There were many guards guarding the residence of the dragons. Some people were chatting. I think those enemies don't even dare to come. That's right, they only dare to launch sneak attacks. They don't dare to fight us head-on. Who do those people think they are? If they dare to come to my dragons, I will definitely destroy them. The eyes of these guards were filled with arrogance. Kill me? I'm standing right here. You can try. At this moment, a voice rang out. As soon as he said this, all the guards in the mansion were stunned. Who's talking? The next moment, they saw a figure walking over. Who are you? They saw that the person opposite them was covered in flames, as if he was a fire god. The terrifying heat spread out in all directions, causing the entire void to tremble. No one answered them. What answered him was only a terrifying flame. The 2 guards were instantly reduced to ashes. The surrounding guards were also alarmed and rushed over. Who was it? It was the enemy. Attack quickly. They quickly attacked. Lin Xian waved his hand and unleashed a sky full of fire dragons. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged forward. Those guards were enveloped and let out miserable cries in the end. Damn it, what's going on? What a terrifying flame. This is the aura of the dragons. Why are they the dragons people? They went crazy and let out miserable cries. These guards were terrified and in despair. Previously, they had gathered together and chatted. They even mocked their opponents for only daring to launch sneak attacks and not fight head-on. In their opinion, no one was a match for the dragons. But now? The other party gently waved his hand, and the countless dragons on their side couldn't resist. Was there such a terrifying person in the world? And it was an expert of the dragons. They couldn't figure out who the other party was. In despair, these people were all burned to ashes. The commotion here naturally attracted the attention of the people in the mansion. There's the aura of flames. Not good, our people are falling. It seems that the enemy is here. Let's go. Some dragons experts rushed out. Before they could go out, They saw the door of the mansion shatter with a bang. Immediately after, the fire dragons covered the sky and charged over. The warriors of the dragons at the front were all sent flying and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were charred black. What a terrifying flame. These people were terrified as if they were facing a great enemy. They didn't know how many enemies had come this time. Thousands? Tens of thousands? They weren't sure. Everyone's gaze turned to the front. In the next moment, a figure appeared in front of them. A figure surrounded by flames walked over with large strides. Every step caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. It was as if a fire god had descended. What a terrifying figure. This person was definitely a top-notch expert. The powerhouses of the dragons were extremely nervous. They didn't know how many people there would be after this. But after waiting for a long time, they found that there was only one figure in front of them. There was no one else. What? Only one person? They were stunned. This was impossible. They couldn't believe that a person dared to be so bold. Quickly investigate and see if there's any trap? These people stretched out their souls and searched everywhere. But they found that there was no one around. There was only one person in front of them. Lin Xian smashed the door with a single palm strike and walked in. Looking at the stunned faces around him, he laughed coldly. Where was the red flame dragon god? Tell him to scram out and die. Hearing this voice, the stunned dragon clan cultivators in front of them all regained their senses. They hollered in rage. Damn, who are you? Why are you attacking us dragons? You dare to be rude to the red flame dragon god? Do you want to die? Angry roars rang out one after another. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. He waved his hand and a terrifying light flew out. Immediately, those roaring people screamed miserably and turned into ashes. The others were terrified. The power of the flame was too terrifying. At that moment, an elder walked out and said, "We don't know who you are and don't know about your grievances with the dragons. But I want to remind you that we dragons belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is an emperor race, and I don't need to tell you how strong they are. Offending us is the same as offending the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. How many heads do you think you have? Do you dare to go against us? Lin Wudi, have you heard of him? He is a young emperor, but wasn't he still killed by us? Now obediently kowtow and apologize, and accept our punishment. Otherwise you will end up like Lin Wudi." Why were they talking nonsense with him? No matter how strong he was, could he be a match for an emperor race? Once an extreme weapon was used, even if he had 10,000 lives, it wouldn't be enough. As he finished speaking, the eyes of the dragons exploded with a cold light. Chapter 5199. Lin Xian's eyes flashed when he heard the other party's words. These people thought that he was dead. How dare they threaten him with extreme weapons? He looked at the smug elder of the dragons in front of him and suddenly attacked. He punched out, and the flames on it surged into the sky, turning into the illusion of 6 suns. It was like the 6 paths world. This was the combination of the divine fire and the 6 paths fist. With a boom, the elder of the dragons instantly shattered and turned into a bloody mist. His soul was burned by the flames, and his body and soul were destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding warriors of the dragons were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They couldn't believe that a powerful elder of the dragons was killed in one move. Who was this person? He wasn't human at all. This was something that only a demon god could do. Damn it! At this moment someone roared. He dared to kill our elder. Kill him. These people roared crazily. Their eyes were red as they strode over. They surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. Kill me? I think you're the ones going to hell. Everyone attack together. Don't hold back. The warriors of the dragons were completely enraged. They walked out. With a roar, the dragon blood on their bodies surged, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Some of them stretched out their terrifying dragon claws, while others threw out their terrifying dragon tails. Some of them changed their bodies and directly turned into giant dragons. One of them was surrounded by lightning, and he turned into a lightning dragon that was 100 feet long. He roared at the sky, shaking the 9 heavens. Another person turned into a terrifying fire dragon, sword dragon, cloud dragon, and wind dragon. They covered the sky and roared. On the fiery planet, the native warriors looked at this scene in the distance and knelt on the ground in fear. Heavens, this scene made them feel like they were watching a legend. The dragons were angry. Who dared to anger them? In the distance, Fire Dragon Lady also clenched her fists nervously. Although Lin Xian was strong, could he withstand tens of thousands of dragons? With just you? Although Lin Xian was surrounded, he looked in all directions with a disdainful expression. The next moment he took a step forward, and the divine fire on his body erupted. The power of the 9 Yang divine body was displayed. It turned into 6 sun phantoms that revolved around him. As soon as the 6 suns appeared, monstrous flames shattered the sky. At this moment, many powerful dragons were sent flying, their huge bodies smashing everything in their path. Lei Long's body was charred black as he screamed in pain. The sword dragon howled in grief. Wind dragon and cloud dragon were badly mutilated. At this moment, just the aura alone was enough to make them unable to withstand it. Lin Xian's strength was top-notch, and even the emperor's son might not be a match for him. In addition, he had absorbed the dragon prince's bloodline before. And then he had fought his way out of death. He obtained a wisp of purple sun divine fire. This allowed his 9 Yang divine body to make another breakthrough. Its current power was truly terrifying to the extreme. Therefore, how could these dragons be a match for them? Damn it, why was he so strong? The dragon's men kept roaring as they were sent flying by the flames on their opponents' bodies. Their faces were filled with terror. Let me do it. At this moment, an old man walked over. His body was covered in dragon scales. He was an elder, a saint-level elder. After he walked over, he sent out a palm strike. It was like a flaming cloud that enveloped the world. Lin Xian snorted and sent out a punch. A sky-shattering sound echoed. The old man's palm shattered and he was sent flying. No. The dragon's men were about to kneel. This was a saint. The great sage's late-stage strength was extremely powerful, and no one was a match for him. But now he was injured by a single punch. The old man should be a peak-level saint. How could such a person come? So powerful. That saint elder's face was filled with terror. His body was shaking and his blood was surging. Lin Xian looked at the old man with astonishment. You actually didn't die. It seems like your physique is extraordinary. He was indeed shocked. It might be a casual punch, but with his current strength, it was impossible for the old man to be injured. Even a regular saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. The old man's body had cracks and wasn't shattered. It was indeed out of his expectations. That saint elder's face became extremely ugly. Lin Xian could kill a saint with a single punch? What a joke. He was a dragon and his bloodline was extremely powerful. His physique was even more unparalleled. But now he was receiving such an evaluation. He couldn't accept it. Damn it, I am going to kill you. He rushed over and his body transformed while the dragon scales on his body burst out. The terrifying dragon claws had sharp power, and seemed to be even more terrifying than saint artifacts. 2 pairs of dragon claws slammed onto Lin Xian's body. Ha die. The saint elder sneered. The surrounding dragon clan members also laughed when they were hit by this kind of power. Lin Xian's body would definitely be shattered and he would definitely die. Clang. There was a sky-shattering sound, and the saint elder's expression became fearful. He realized that he didn't even break Lin Xian's defense. How is this possible? Is Lin Xian wearing a divine armor? Lin Xian looked at the old man and laughed. You are too weak and can't even break my defense. While speaking, he reached out and grabbed the old man's dragon claws. He gently waved. There was a cracking sound and the dragon claws that were even more terrifying than saint artifacts were instantly broken. Ah! The saint elder let out a miserable cry. Lin Xian's strength was beyond his imagination. He wanted to escape, but it was already too late. Lin Xian's leg flew out and kicked the old man's body. The old man felt as if he was struck by lightning. He flew out and smashed into countless palaces. His body was shattered into countless pieces and scattered all over the ground. One kick and his soul was destroyed. He died again. The surrounding dragon's experts were terrified. This time, It was a saint who made a move. But he couldn't even block one move? What was wrong with this person? Why was he so terrifying? Damn it. Two people flew over from the distant palace. They were a middle-aged man and a woman. They were both saints. After they arrived, they said coldly that everyone should form a formation to kill him. The two of them took out two saint artifacts from their storage rings. The terrifying saint artifacts bloomed with radiance and attacked at the same time. The formation bombarded him, but Lin Xian wasn't afraid. His physique was able to defend against everything. Then he stomped his foot and charged forward. He stretched out his palms and attacked the two saints. Damn it, how dare you! The two saints shouted angrily. Was Lin Xian going to fight the two of them alone? He was looking down on them. The middle-aged man on the left roared. In his hand, there was a bronze hammer. As it swayed, it carried the power of laws. It was a terrifying saint artifact. The woman on the right held a pagoda in her hand. As it opened and closed, it was as if millions of mountains were falling from the sky. The two of them used all their strength. The entire world was constantly shattering. The surrounding dragons experts also roared crazily. Kill him! They attacked the dragons from afar and activated the formation at the same time. The monstrous power was all aimed at Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his fists and attacked the two saint artifacts. A voice that shook the heavens sounded. At the same time, the illusion of 6 suns appeared and flew in all directions. Those suns shredded the formation and enveloped the dragon's experts. Those who were hit were all turned into ashes. The others were also sent flying while vomiting blood. Chapter 5200. Damn it, how dare you! When the two sages saw this scene, they shouted angrily. They wanted to help, but Lin Xian's hands blocked their saint artifacts. Do you want to leave now? The power on his palms erupted, turning into 2 terrifying sword lights that slashed forward. The 2 saint artifacts were repelled, and the 2 sages' chi and blood were in turmoil. He's too strong, let's fight it out with him. Unity of man and artifact. Their bodies merged with the saint artifacts, and they quickly rushed over. A loud boom rang out, and Lin Xian's arm felt numb from the impact. This was incredible. These two still had such a technique up their sleeves. His face was gloomy, and then he formed a seal with his left hand. Demonic God Seal. With a palm strike, the pagoda was sent flying with a bang. The middle-aged woman also vomited blood, and half of her body turned into a blood mist. On the other side, the demonic god finger flew out and tapped on the bronze hammer, causing the middle-aged man's body to be pierced, and he let out a miserable scream. How can he be so strong? Run away. The 2 great sages' faces were ugly. If they continued fighting, the remaining people would all die. It seemed that they could only run away. Lin Xian looked at the 2 people in front and sneered. Want to run away? Today none of you can escape. He slowly raised his hands, and the 9 suns split the sky, sweeping across the world. A vast flame danced in the air and swept out in all directions. On his body, the illusion of 9 suns appeared, and 6 of them were incomparably solid. As if they were real suns, they instantly shrouded the world. These flames erupted together. The 9 suns' divine fire was the flame of the purest yang, and its power was incomparably terrifying. These flames also had a trace of faint purple light, which was the purple sun's divine fire. The power of the emperor's fire. With a monstrous status, it swept across the world. At this moment, the void shattered, the palace collapsed, and the surrounding people were instantly pierced by the flames. The 2 great sages' faces were also ugly. Retreat quickly. The 2 of them frantically retreated. However, they were hit by the 2 suns, and their bodies were ignited. No. They roared crazily and used all their strength to defend. However, the saint artifacts also melted in the sun. They were completely crazy and in despair. Red Flame Ancestor, save us. At the most critical moment, they sent out a cry for help. There was an even more terrifying saint in seclusion here, the Scarlet Flame Saint. He was probably the only one who could save them. However, it was too late. As soon as they shouted, their bodies melted and their souls were extinguished. Everything in the world ceased to exist in the raging flames. When the 9 sun illusions disappeared, the entire mansion was razed to the ground. Lin Xian was the only one standing in the pitch-black land, looking like a demon god. In the distance, the people on the blazing star looked at the scene in the sky in shock. They knelt down and kept worshipping. The appearance of 9 suns meant that the sun god had descended. Are they here to save us? They crawled towards the distance with hope. On the other side, in the void, Fire Dragon Lady's pupils contracted. She could feel the aura of the dragons disappearing quickly. After that, he could no longer feel it. They had all died. So many elders, including the 3 great sage lords, had died. This was all done by Lin Xian alone. He didn't use a legendary saint weapon, nor did he use the power of an extreme Dao weapon. Was he already so terrifying with his own strength? No wonder he dared to go alone. Perhaps he could really kill the Scarlet Flame Saint. After all, Lin Xian's trump card was very terrifying. Lin Xian stood on the ground and looked at the ashes around him. His eyes were cold. These people deserved it. If they didn't kill him, they wouldn't have ended up like this. However, the battle wasn't over yet. The blazing flame dragon lord hadn't come out yet. Lin Xian wouldn't leave. His eyes flashed with the power of reincarnation as he looked around. Soon he looked down at the ground. With a cold snort, he stomped his foot and the ground cracked open, forming a canyon that was 1,000,000 miles wide. Lin Xian said coldly, "Are you still going to hide under the ground? Come out and die. Who is it? How dare you disturb my cultivation?" Beneath the ground, a cold voice rang out, bringing with it endless fury. The clouds in the sky were collapsing. At the same time there were 4 cold voices. "How dare you disturb a saint's cultivation? Do you want to die? Men, take him down." 4 figures flew out. They were 4 young people, the geniuses of the 10,000 Dragon Court. After they came out, they wanted to summon the dragons. But when they looked around and saw that the ground had been razed to the ground, they were stunned. Where was this? Where was the residence of the dragons? "Saint, this is bad." The voices of the 4 young geniuses trembled. "Humph. Didn't I tell you to be calm when you encounter problems? You have to be calm even if the primordial demon mountain collapses in front of you. Have you forgotten what I taught you?" A cold snort sounded. The 4 young people's faces turned pale. They were so scared that they didn't dare to speak. The voice came from below again. "I want to see what can make you so panicked." A figure stepped into the air and rose into the air. He came to the ground with a powerful flaming dragon's might. After coming out, he was stunned and his pupils constricted. What was going on? The surrounding ground was charred black as if it had been burned by fire. Where was the residence of the dragons? Where were the saints of the dragons? What was going on? The red flame dragon god shouted coldly. "We don't know." The 4 young people were so scared that they were about to cry. Chapter 5201. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord wasn't an ordinary saint. His strength was much stronger than the previous 2 saints. Therefore this punch was shockingly powerful. The space in front of them shattered, and it spread for tens of millions of miles, turning into a black hole. Was he dead? The 4 young geniuses sneered. Going against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was courting death. But soon, they were stunned and didn't dare to think about it anymore. Because they noticed that the young man had appeared beside them. "So many years have passed, but your strength hasn't improved at all." Lin Xian dodged the attack and sneered. "How is that possible?" The Scarlet Flame Dragon god's pupils constricted. Did he dodge? He didn't notice it at all. Could it be that Lin Xian had really become stronger? "I don't believe that you are that person. I don't believe that anyone can survive an extreme weapon." One had to know that Lin Xian didn't have an extreme weapon when he attacked him. Under such circumstances, the Dragon Prince would definitely die. How could Lin Xian survive? Therefore, all of this was an illusion. He definitely wasn't that Lin Wudi. "Kill." With a furious roar he charged out. Scarlet Flame Divine Palm. He struck out with his palm, and it was like the palm of a god that carried monstrous power. This was the ultimate technique of the dragons. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian didn't retreat this time. He snorted coldly and punched out. Boom. The two collided and it was like two worlds clashing. With the two of them as the center, a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. The space instantly shattered. The four geniuses were terrified. Not good. They retreated. In an instant, they were enveloped by the remaining power of the energy. The four of them didn't even have time to scream before their souls were destroyed. Damn it. The Scarlet Flame Dragon God's expression turned ugly when he sensed this. Dead. Are the four geniuses dead? One had to know that they were the four geniuses of his family. He had thought highly of them, so he brought them along to guide them. But now, they were actually killed by the remaining power of the energy. Their deaths were too humiliating. But soon he was no longer in the mood to care about the four geniuses, because his expression was filled with fear and shock. In front of him, Lin Xian's fist blocked his palm. Even his palm began to tremble. The flames on it were suppressing him. How could this be? He had fought with Lin Wudi before. The other party was strong, but he was no match for him. It was only because the other party launched a sneak attack on him and used a sacred weapon that he was able to injure him. Otherwise, the other party wouldn't be a match for him at all. But now the other party had easily blocked this palm strike with just the strength of his body. The power of the divine body. The Red Flame Dragon Monarch gritted his teeth. He was truly terrified. The 9-yang divine body in this world was probably only Lin Xian. Even if he imparted it to others, it would be impossible for them to cultivate it to such a level. It would take at least a few hundred years. In just a few short years, it was absolutely impossible. Therefore, the person in front of him was undoubtedly Lin Xian. But how did the other party survive? 2 full-powered attacks from an apex weapon, yet the other party was still alive. This was too shocking. What kind of secrets did the other party possess? He didn't dare to think about it anymore. If such a person were to grow up, it would be a crisis for the dragons. No, he had to quickly inform the family. Even if he had to disregard everything, he had to use an apex weapon to kill the other party. He quickly retreated, wanting to send a message. However, Lin Xian took a step forward. Shadowless Heaven's net instantly closed in on the other party. What? Do you want to repeat the scene from before? Do you think I will give you a chance to send a message to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? You have no chance. Lin Xian punched out. The Red Flame Dragon Monarch was forced back and spat out blood. Damn it! He retreated explosively, turning into a bolt of lightning and charging into the distance. He would leave and then send a message to the family. He turned into a dragon shadow, passed through the clouds, and disappeared. You want to leave? Lin Xian snorted coldly. A pair of demon god wings appeared on his back. He spread them and soared into the sky. His speed had also reached the limit. In an instant, he caught up to the Red Flame Dragon Monarch. How was that possible? The Red Flame Dragon Monarch was terrified. Why are you so fast? Lin Xian sneered. It seems that you are too confident. Today, I will let you see my true strength. He roared, and 9 suns appeared on his body. The 6 suns were incomparably real. He condensed them in his hands, and a flaming divine sword appeared. 9 suns split the sky. He waved his hands. At this moment, the entire planet shook violently, and countless cracks appeared below. The sky above the 9 heavens was split into 2 by the sword. No. Sensing this scene, the Red Flame Dragon Monarch frantically blocked. What kind of sword was this? It was too terrifying. Block it. He burned his dragon blood and roared crazily. Red Flame Fire God. The flames on his body condensed and emitted a monstrous light, forming the illusion of a fire god to resist the sword. An earth-shattering sound rang out, destroying the world. Below, the wind and rain blew. Countless cultivators of the fiery planet knelt on the ground. This power was enough to destroy their planet. Fortunately, the 2 of them had arrived above the 9 heavens. Most of the power was transmitted to the outer space. The pitch-black universe also lit up at this moment. It was like an aurora that spread in all directions. Some people in the universe felt it, and were instantly terrified. They looked into the distance. Heavens, what was that? 2 fire element experts were fighting. Was that the fire god? What was the other one? Was there a sun attacking a planet? They saw the 6 suns turn into a divine sword and slash at the fire god. Then the entire universe seemed to be split into 2. Endless cracks spread toward this side. Some people who wanted to get close to watch the battle instantly fled. It was too terrifying. Roar. An angry roar sounded in the world as the fire god illusion was split into 2. The flames in half of the starry sky disappeared, and the figure of the red flame dragon monarch appeared. At this moment, the red flame dragon monarch was stunned in midair. His body trembled and his pupils constricted. The light in his eyes disappeared. Impossible. A crack slowly appeared between his eyebrows. Then it spread across his entire body. His body was split into 2, and his soul was also disappearing. He was in despair. The other party had actually insta-killed him with 1 sword. What had the other party experienced in the past few years? Not only did he not die, but his strength had also increased greatly. The 10,000 Dragons dynasty was in danger. He could imagine what kind of attack the 10,000 Dragons dynasty would suffer next. He wanted to send a message, but he couldn't do it anymore. Boom. The broken corpse fell and burned. In the starry sky, it turned into a bright flame that illuminated the world. Then it quickly disappeared. A few years later, the red flame dragon monarch was killed by Lin Xian with 1 sword. Lin Xian retracted the 6 sun illusions. His expression was cold. He turned around and flew towards the fiery world below. Below, the cultivators on the fiery planet looked up at the sky. When they saw Lin Xian return, they kept bowing to him. Lin Xian stood in the sky and said loudly, Chapter 5202. Was he dead? Were those terrifying dragons all dead? In their eyes, the scarlet flame dragon god was a godlike existence. When he first came, he defeated them with just a look. He was the strongest person in the world. They couldn't resist at all. In the end, they became prisoners. Now such a person was actually killed. Who was this young man in front of them? No, he wasn't human. He was a god. He was a godlike existence. Greetings, exalted immortal. They kept worshipping him. Exalted immortal, you have helped us. From now on, exalted immortals will be respected. The world core flew out and floated above the 9 heavens. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Very good, he had obtained a world core. From now on, no one will be able to attack you. He waved his hand and sent out the 9 suns illusion into the ground. Then, endless fire spirit veins quickly gathered and rolled. A monstrous and terrifying power was forming. I have set up the 9 suns array here. It is an extremely powerful fire array. Combined with the fire energy of your world, even a great sage will die without a doubt. Great, thank you, exalted immortal. The cultivators on the fiery star were overjoyed. With such an array, they would be safe in the future. Fire Dragon Lady also flew over, her face full of shock. Were they really dead? They had all fallen. Lin Xian nodded. They couldn't withstand a single blow. Come back with me. Return to the buried Emperor Star, save your family, and take revenge on the 10,000 Dragons dynasty. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Then the 2 of them turned into lightning and disappeared into the universe. The people in the outer space looked into the distance in shock. Was the battle over? It can't be, right? Shouldn't such a person fight for months, or even years? One had to know that it was very difficult to kill a top expert in 1 move. But now, the phenomenon in front of them had disappeared. They were bewildered as they flew forward. They came to the place where the battle had taken place, and felt the remnant aura. They were terrified. It was too terrifying. There was divine blood here. Why do I feel like it's the aura of the dragons? Did an expert of the dragons fall? They sucked in a cold breath. This must be the fiery star. It was said that the blazing flame dragon lord had led dragons here before, mining the flame divine crystals. Could it be that the person who fought before was the scarlet flame dragon monarch? It was very likely. But where was he now? Could he be dead? That was impossible, right? Who could defeat such a terrifying existence? Have you noticed? The person fighting the blazing flame dragon monarch was surrounded by a terrifying illusion of the sun. That person was also an incredible expert. Was he from the Golden Crow clan that possessed the illusion of the sun? No, the Golden Crow clan only had one sun phantom. That person had 9, the 9 young divine body. Someone exclaimed. The other clans were also being suppressed. For example, the Fire Dragon clan became prisoners. Some people from the Dugu clan and Nalan clan were killed and heavily injured. The martialists of the Divine Union no longer dared to leave the path. Some of them were even inexplicably injured on the path. It could be said that no one related to the Divine Union had a good life. Lin Xian's face darkened when he heard that. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was courting death. He was really angry. This time, not only did he want to take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, but he also wanted to let the world know that there was no good ending for those who allied with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian said, "I'll save your fire dragons first." Fire Dragon Girl's face lit up. "Really? Thank you, young Master Lin." Lin Xian shook his head. "This matter started because of me. I will give you a satisfactory explanation." The two of them quickly headed towards the fire dragons. At this moment, the fire dragons were no longer as glorious as before. The entire fire dragon tribe had become prisoners, and the ones who controlled them were the wind dragons. The wind dragon race had always sided with the 10,000 dragon court. Now that they were in control of the fire dragon race, they were naturally overjoyed. The fire dragon clan's territory, including all kinds of resources, were all under their control. Not only that, they could also control the life and death of the fire dragons. Even now, they had begun to use the blood of fire dragons to purify their bloodline. At this moment, the fire dragon race was filled with blood qi. Many of them were chained up and their bodies were riddled with wounds. Every day, they had to contribute their own dragon blood. There were countless cauldrons in the mansion. Chapter 5203. The fire dragon race was in a pitiful state. The fire dragons roared crazily. "Damn it, if you have the ability, then give us a quick death. You will suffer retribution for torturing us like this." Retribution? The wind dragons laughed out loud when they heard that. "Stupid things. Now that Lin Wudi is dead, who dares to attack us? The world will belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty in the future. All of you can go and die." An arrogant voice rang out. "You dare." At this moment, a cold shout rang out. Then, a person appeared in the residence like a stream of light. "Who is it?" The wind dragon race frowned. At the next moment, they were stunned. "It's you. Why are you here?" The members of the Fire Dragon clan were also stunned. It was the princess of the Fire Dragon race, Fire Dragon Princess. Wasn't she sent to the Flame Star to dig for Flame God crystals? Why is she back? "Are you alone?" The Wind Dragon race laughed coldly. "Good, your bloodline is stronger. I think it can improve my bloodline further." A young man from the Wind Dragon clan walked over and reached out his hand to grab Fire Dragon Lady. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. With a scream, the genius of the Wind Dragons was sent flying. His palm was shattered and his face was filled with fear. "You dare to hurt me?" he roared crazily. "Men, suppress him. I want him to live a life worse than death." The surrounding Wind Dragon race members all walked over. The Fire Dragon race members were in despair. "Princess, run!" they shouted. Fire Dragon Princess didn't escape at all. She stood there and a figure appeared behind her. It was a black-robed man. It was Lin Xian. After Lin Xian came out, he looked around. "Wind Dragon race, kneel down and accept your death." "Who are you?" The Wind Dragon race members roared in anger. "Fire Dragon Princess, since you still dare to resist, then don't blame us for being impolite. Attack." With a command, the Wind Dragon clan's people quickly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A cold aura appeared in his eyes. Monstrous flames swept out in all directions. In an instant, the entire world became a world of the sun. The people from the Wind Dragon race froze. They felt the scorching flames and became terrified. It was as if the other party could tear them to pieces with just a glance. "Who are you?" They were terrified. Just the aura of the other party was enough to make them so afraid. He was probably an extremely terrifying senior figure. Lin Xian took off his cloak and looked forward. What, you don't even recognize me? What? It's you. Lin Wudi. How can you still be alive? The people of the Wind Dragons were terrified. Run. They wanted to leave, but Lin Xian snorted coldly. 9 suns split the heavens. Boundless suns danced in the air, enveloping all of the Wind Dragons. Flames swept across the sky, burning heaven and earth. The experts of the Wind Dragons were all annihilated. The next moment, the Sun Phantom disappeared. The people of the Fire Dragon race were all stunned. Did he die? Did the Wind Dragon clan all perish? Heavens, what kind of method was this? They looked at the young man in front of them, and their bodies began to sway. Young Master Lin, you are still alive. That was great. They cried tears of joy. With Lin Xian alive, there was hope. They could turn the tables. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The longevity battle armor flew out and continued to expand. It enveloped the entire residence. The injured Fire Dragon race cultivators were enveloped by the powerful life force of the longevity battle armor. The cracks on their bodies quickly healed. What a terrifying life force. These people were even more shocked. Lin Xian was like a god. He could control life and death with a raise of his hand. Greetings, young Master Lin. 5 minutes later, the people of the Fire Dragon race gathered together. They bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and then looked at Fire Dragon Lady. Take your clansmen to hide and recuperate. Young Master, what about you? Fire Dragon Lady asked. She said that they could attack together. Lin Xian shook his head. No, all of you should gather your strength first and wait for the time when I need you. When I need you, I will summon you. Yes, we understand. Fire Dragon Lady waved her hand and led the people of the Fire Dragon race away. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Next was the Nalan family. His allies, the Dugu family, were all suppressed. They were suppressed by the Thunder Dragons and Sword Dragons. They were living a miserable life. Lin Xian attacked and killed the people of the Thunder and Wind Dragons. He saved the Nalan and Dugu families. Young Master Lin, you are still alive. Greetings, young Master Lin. Patriarch Nalan, Patriarch Dugu, and the others were so emotional that they cried. They finally saw hope. Lin Xian said, Rest well and leave the rest to me. This was just the beginning. Lin Xian wouldn't stop here. The annihilation of these Dragon Clan martial artists set off a small storm. However, the majority of people on the buried Emperor Star hadn't received the news. In their opinion, Lin Xian had already fallen. Let's return to the Divine Union first. Lin Xian returned to the ancient city and walked towards the path. He was strolling leisurely, but his figure was incomparably ethereal. Every step he took was like lightning. People with ordinary strength couldn't even see him. Elder Yi had returned from the Sacred Origin Tower. He was an elder of the Yi family. He had gone to the Abyss Tower to inquire about some things. When he returned, he narrowed his eyes. The current situation was surging like a storm. Lin Xian and the Dragon Prince had fallen. The battle between the princes would probably be even more intense. He had to make preparations for Yi Wudao. Suddenly, he froze and his pupils shrank. It seemed like someone had just passed by.